If you do not want to change, if you do not want to better yourself, if you do not want to break outside of this matrix, if you want to live in your comfortable delusion that they have built for you, do not watch these videos. Leave this channel.
Because when I step to the game,
if you do not want any truth, don't want to understand, if you are not here to hear something that's outside of your own mind and accept others' minds and opinions, the way they think for themselves, you do not belong. And finally, if you are not trying to be positive, if you are not trying to help create solutions while we discuss the problems and how they got here, you do not belong here. Negativity, hate, disrespect, name calling, those things will not be allowed here on this planet, and not in this empire. We are the ones, the true Americans, that want to be free and stand as we have always stood.
My lines burn like blunts getting smoked in the dark. Hella cooking shit up if your ass wanna spar. Barbecue your beef up like the seats in my car. Cool yourself off refrigerator jar. Baby rappers been acting like this is not an art. Huh, you forgot about that part. Lady rappers been acting like this is not an art. Huh, you forgot about that part.
What up, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. You know what I'm saying? It's time, baby, cause this shit exclusive right here. Only the people that know. You feel me? And if you don't know, now you know. Yeah. So just keeping it real on a good day. Hopefully everybody's feeling real chill. You know what I mean? And life was life. And if you guys worked overtime, thank you for working. You are appreciated. The world doesn't go round without you. All the people that had work today, you participated, and we thank you, because I wouldn't be able to accomplish the things that I accomplished without everybody going to work. And I hope you guys feel the same way about me. I did some overtime on Sunday. Today, I'm gonna do overtime on this Sunday coming up. I'm just working my ass off for y'all, okay? So, here we go. Hopefully you guys had a good day. I'm always gonna say that because you and your health, your mental health is a good thing, very important to me specifically. That's why I'm here, so everybody can have an opportunity to feel like, hey, somebody understands, somebody gets it. You're not just out in the world floating around all by yourself. Ever since we did the golf plan, right, the world peace plan or whatever, we got some hit-ups from the senator. They requested the document. We went over it. We reached out to our consultant, a CEO of QSEC. They had their team go ahead, reformat and comb through it a little bit, give me some honest opinions. And you know, we got opinions that's very bold. It's a very bold plan. Okay, that's what we got so far. We have bold plans, you know, so bold initiative. Okay, that's the word they used. All right. And I created the email and I sent it to Senator Kelly Singh. We finally sent it. They emailed us back. They requested it. They even phone called us. So hopefully they get that. We sent it at around 3:30. If you guys hear a ceasefire by tomorrow, they requested the document, and I took my sweet time, about a week, to make sure, you know, it was even worth it, to make sure it was viable, to give myself a break, you know, just some rest, dude, because I'm doing a lot for you guys for nothing really. But it's cool. I'm not complaining, you know. There's just, some of us are built different, you know what I mean? And I wanted to do it. I enjoyed doing it. It was awesome, actually. It was really fun. I'm just stressed out and I'm tired. I did all that work for like, no pay, and then you guys ain't even gonna consider it. Like that was a little painful. But all in all, hey, I served my purpose. This shit will go down in history. I'm gonna try to actually put it into book form, so that way the plan goes heard. At least it'll be on a shelf somewhere. What we could have did, what we should have did, and it might even be a blueprint for a new way for them to do it in the future that nobody considered. So there's that. We ran plenty of simulations how it could turn out, but before the president drops more bombs, hey, I said my piece. And if they need any, if they want to know what I was thinking, or if they want anything else, let me know. All right, I'm open for consultant hiring. I'm a thinker. I have my think tank squad with me, so this is what we do. All right, this is how think tanks are built. You gotta want to think, We'll give them that. Everything just happens the way it's supposed to happen. And if they consider it, we could save a lot of lives. And if they don't, we won't. And there's that in a nutshell. So, I still like the way life is, at least, as far as like here in America. We don't have all that extra shit happening right now, that Sharia stuff that's been going around like the flu. I'm just happy that we don't have to deal with that right now. It's really unnerving. I'm not Islamophobic or anything like that. I'm not afraid of them. I really just don't want their rules and policy ruling my life. I don't want that in my life. If I wanted that, I'd be Islam. I know where they live. I'm brown. I could go over there, learn their language and hang out. I just don't want to. It's better over here. And they know it's better over here, but they want to come over here where it's better and do the thing they're doing over there. And I'm not cool with that. That's why I'm over here. That's why I'm not there. And if you want to try to force that, you already know where this is going, bro. Like, come on. Like, anybody that can't get behind, hey, do your religion over there somewhere, and they got to get smacked up. You know what I'm saying? The minute you try to press me, I'm gonna throw hands. Fuck it. I'm just gonna throw hands. I'm just gonna pull out my sword, and I'm just gonna end this shit. Because that's what you want. You want this. And by your Sharia, by his Sharia, he attacked me. By my self-defense, he's dead. I'm sorry. I defended myself. I defended myself against the demons of Allah. Right? Yeah, that part. If you're gonna try to force me to believe in your God when I know Jesus is the way, then you gotta go. You can't tell me I can't love Jesus. You can't tell me I can't live if I love Jesus. You can't do that. And if you try, I'm gonna defend myself. And now you did exactly what your God wanted you to do. And I'm still alive because my God gave me everlasting life. Okay? And he gave me the rights to rebuke demons from this physical plane. I will rebuke your existence with my double-edged sword. And no, my sword is not pointing at me. It has two edges that are really sharp. I cut you either way. You feel me? Now, I love my life. Okay? And I will gladly sacrifice my life for Jesus, but not without a fight. He already sacrificed for me so I could live. So if I defend myself and your ear come off, you better hope he's around to heal it. There's that. Because I don't know if you know who you dealing with. You see what I'm saying? Like, you push Christians to the edge. Even Jesus told us to grab our swords. Yeah, Yeah. Even Jesus told us to grab our swords. Yeah. 2 is enough. I got 3. Okay, cool. He told us not to stop him from going to the cross, not to not defend ourselves. So pick up your swords, Christians, and be ready to defend yourselves. We have permission to. Jesus never said, lay down and die. He said they were going to hate us because they hated him. There's a time for war and a time for peace. Right now we're at peace. But when it comes to war, when it's time to end these fools because they're trying to end you, yeah, you think about that. If this is how we play in the game, prepare to play hard. I don't think these Muslims think their lives are at risk trying to take us over. I don't think they think, like, here's the thing. I think they are under the conception that we are going to just let them do whatever. And we're just going to let them get away with this shit. I really believe they think we're going to let them get away with this shit. And y'all need to stop lying to these people. Stop lying to these Muslims. Like, y'all just gonna let them do what they want and take over your churches and kick you out your homes and sleep in the bed with your wife and make you wear 2 mishmash shoes and shave your head. Man, bruh, I'ma die first. And I'ma be screaming Jesus Christ the whole time. Because I'm coming for heads. This ain't no game. People think I'm playing about my life. They think I'm playing about my sanity. You think I'm playing about my security and my way of doing things. You're out of your mind. You are mentally ill. This war is gonna get much worse before it gets better. Until they realize this Sharia is not happening. And until we stand up and tell them this Sharia is not happening, okay? This is the problem we have. And I think a lot of people got this twisted. They got us all messed up here. And I don't think that people really understand, like, what's at stake. I don't think Americans understand what's at stake. I'm not gonna let anybody hurt me. I'm not gonna let anybody tell me that my American way of living is not good enough. Jesus can tell me that. And I'll believe him. I'll try to change my ways. All right, so I'm pulling up one of these things I was checking out because all right, my shit just fucked up. All right, here we go. Here we go. I'm about to share it now. So this is the thing that's really bothering me. Let me drop the link real quick, just in case. I'll share this real quick.
Because we are the right.
You're a terrorist.
No, you're not.
You terrorist.
Why are you pee?
Terrorist.
Come fight! Come fight, you fucker! Come! Come fight! You fucker, come! You wanna fight?
Yeah, I'm fighting.
God's gonna burn you in hell, you child of the.
Yo, I'm fighting. I don't even care. I'm fighting. It is what it is. Like, it's up, bruh. It's already up. Like, what you mean? Like, you thought this was a game? You're not finna come to my church. You're not finna come to my house. You're not finna come to my place and try to tell me what I'm finna do. This is not where you from. This is where you at, homie.
Devil.
Allah Akbar, just breaking stuff. I'm telling you, not here. It's not happening. And y'all better not let it happen. I don't care what these little crazy 1% is talking about. There is hundreds of millions of us that's not cool with this, and we gonna stop it immediately. And if you need to go to the army, go to the army, whatever, get trained up, get paid to work out, whoop some ass. Because we cannot let them stop us. And if you're not ready to fight for this, maybe you don't deserve it. I'm fighting. I already did my little bid right there. I'm gonna do something else here shortly. Right now I'm coming up with plans so that way our leadership has something to work with. I don't see anybody else doing that. And if you guys are doing that, you need to get with me, hit that comments, and go ahead and ask me for my email so we can chop it up and really come up with a plan. Because then nobody helped me with this golf initiative. Took me 2.5 weeks. Yeah, we could have covered that. We could have helped. Yeah, right?
Yeah, that's a real peaceful religion, isn't it? You know, running through a church or wherever it was, screaming Allah Akbar, destroying musical equipment because it's not haram. So it doesn't fit your religious ideologies. So that gives you the right to just destroy it. Funny, that's kind of how you think about the United States. It doesn't fit with your religious ideology, so just destroy it. Please tell me when the last time you saw a group of Christians of any denomination, of any faith, running through somewhere screaming Christ is Lord and destroying anything just because Christians don't agree with it. And if they did, it would be front page news. Every mainstream media outlet would be talking about how evil these Christians are. Yet this happens and there's not a mention of it. The other part that really gets me, and I had this debate with someone today, is how so many liberals, especially white liberal women, believe that there's going to be some type of Margaret Atwood, Handmaid's Tale that Christian nationalists want to instill. All the while, there's one group that is already doing it, has been doing it for centuries. What do you think the burqa is? What do you think genital mutilation in kids and forced marriage and all the things that they do? I think you probably should go back and read Atwood's novels and compare and contrast. This is really happening in the United States and in Europe. I'm not saying that Muslims are bad. Far from it. I know plenty of them. I work with them. I think they're great guys. But the point of this is that when you come to the United States, you come to assimilate because the United States way of life has provided abundance for so many people. Look at the Asians from China, Japan, Indians, Pakistanis that are here. They've all come and brought their culture with them and made the melting pot of America better, but they didn't expect America to bend to their way of life. This is really happening.
Wow. They hit us with a commercial, man. That's crazy. You see how they doing this, bro? The wilderness.
Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to Truth Stands. Before we dive into our message right now, I want to invite you to become a permanent part of our loving family. If you believe in the power of faith, the promise of freedom, and the beautiful American dream, please go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with everyone you care about. Also, please consider joining our channel membership for exclusive stories and special content. It is a wonderful place where true patriots and dreamers gather to support one another. We need each other's light now more than ever.
The Christians today are open idolaters.
They insult Allah, saying that he has a son.
Very first problem I see in America, Christianity.
Do not take the Jews and Christians as your close friends. This is a command from Allah.
Let us take these lessons and teach it to our children. Teach them to hate everything about kufr.
Drawing the boundaries when dealing with the enemy, when dealing with the disbeliever.
In Texas, we worship Jesus Christ, not a stupid rock or a dead pedophile like Muhammad. I get into Congress and I'm banning.
Hey, you can come up, bro. I got the link in the chat. It's pinned up there. Whoever wants to come up, but this shit's real. We gotta be done with this Sharia shit. It's not cool. All right, and anybody that's trying to tell me America is not good, then we got a problem with that.
Allah, hijabs, or as I like to call them, bomb concealers, and turning the mosques that you paid for into public toilets. I look forward to making Texas the worst place for terrorist Muslims, illegals, pedophiles, and groomers to live in, so help me God. And don't forget, tomorrow's Sunday, so go to church.
Hey, get it, Gomez.
One more time. So this Holy Week, I'm proud to join with Christians across the country and around the world to celebrate the most glorious miracle in all of time, the resurrection of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. In his life, Christ displayed true humility. In his death, he modeled true love. And in his resurrection from the tomb, he proved that even death itself will not silence those who place their trust in Almighty God. As it says in Gospel of John, for God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, for whoever believes in him should not perish, but have eternal life. Eternal life, such beautiful words. This Easter, millions of Christians all over the globe will be reminded that because of what Jesus did on the cross, all of us can live every day with hope in God's promise, knowing that in the end, evil and wickedness will not prevail. In the spirit of joy and renewal this Easter, we also celebrate the extraordinary resurrection of faith and religion in America. As I have often said, to be a great nation, you must have religion and you must have God. In churches across the nation on Sunday, the pews will be fuller, younger, and more faithful than they have at any time in many, many years. Religion is growing again in our country for the first time in decades. Happy Easter to all. May God bless you. May God bless the United States of America. Our country is doing so well like never before. Thank you.
My friends, this is old John Valor.
Whatever. Even if that was AI, that was a dope speech. Whatever. I don't know if it's AI. He possibly really did say that right there. It just looked a little off for me, but this guy's a little off. But hey, look, I'm watching this because there's truth in here, okay? Because this is for real though. It's really stating facts, no matter how it's made. It's stating some facts here, and all I want to do is stick to facts. And I've been researching, and if they weren't out loud speaking about it, and I didn't have evidence that I'm saying it, then I wouldn't even care.
Coming to you with a heavy heart, but a fighting spirit that is shining brighter and stronger than it ever has before. I am just an elderly American man who has spent so many years watching this great, beautiful country of ours. I have loved it with every single beat of my heart, and I have always stood tall for the good, simple values that made America the shining light on a hill for the whole wide world to see. Today, sitting right here in my chair, just a day after Good Friday, yesterday, April 3rd, 2026, I have to talk about an event that is making tears stream down my weathered cheeks. A story that should wake up the love and courage in every single patriot in this land. The radical left's attempt to erase Christianity from America just met its ultimate match. Folks, yesterday, a group of Muslim extremists and radicals, filled with a very sad and misguided anger, brazenly tried to storm and burn down a beautiful, historic Christian church. They chose Good Friday, one of the most sacred, holy days of the entire year. A quiet day, when families and little children gather to remember the great love and sacrifice of our Lord Jesus Christ. These attackers thought they could easily invade a peaceful house of worship, set it ablaze, and crush the gentle faith that built our great nation. But praise God, my friends, the brave, loving Christians inside, and the everyday American patriots who stepped up, said no, not today. Imagine the bravery, the pure love for their neighbors, as they stood, shoulder to shoulder. They did not back down in fear. They used their God-given courage to step right in front of the danger. They overpowered those who wished to do harm, stopped the destruction in its tracks, kicked them out to those big wooden doors, and handed them straight over to the police to keep everyone safe. And the most amazing part, their instant regret was caught on camera for the whole world to witness. You could see the exact moment these attackers realized they made the ultimate mistake. They looked into the eyes of real, everyday Americans and saw that our country is not going to just roll over and give up its faith. What a beautiful, powerful sight it is to behold. Today, the good guys won this round, defending their sacred home. It brings happy, overwhelming tears to my old eyes just sharing this with you right now, knowing that the pure heart of America is still beating so incredibly strong.
When Christians come under attack, they know they're going to be attacked violently and viciously by President Trump. A lot of them the other day in Nigeria because they were killing Christians. You know about that. They were killing Christians. So you can't do that. When Christians come under attack, they know they're going to be attacked violently and viciously by President Trump. I know it's not a nice thing to say, but that's the way it is. So we're also delighted to welcome visiting leaders.
This is our country. We get to decide who comes in. We get to decide who leaves. This is our country, and I want my country back.
Traditional warehouses make you pay for your own racking, air conditioning, heating.
The pictures of your loving family smiling on the wall. This story I am sharing with you, this beautiful victory of love over hate, is not some far-off tale happening in a distant land. It is happening right here, right now, in the America we cherish so deeply. It hits so very... We are safe, God is with us, and we are strong, grandparents just like me, with silver hair and hands folded tightly together. A praying shows me that the heartbeat of America is still loud, proud, and full of grace. We are a giant family, from sea to shining sea, and when one of our peaceful...
They can be as mad as they want, I don't care. Ideal nightmare of a Muslim Europe will come true.
...can ever break. It is a love that makes me so incredibly proud to be an American today.
Every ideal nightmare of a Muslim Europe will come true. They can be as mad as they want, I don't care. America will be a Muslim country. Russia will be a Muslim country. Islam will enter every house, inshallah. But we have to be a part of that change. We have to be a part of that da'wah. We have to be a part of those ghuraba who stand firm on our aqeedah and our practice and our deen and never ever apologize. We're unapologetic. Never ever compromise. We're uncompromising.
Muslims don't belong in American society. They don't. But that's what House Representative Ogles said, and he is taking on an incredible amount of fire from the left who are all calling for him to resign. Why? First of all, he's expressing his First Amendment right. He's giving his opinion, and he's entitled to do that. So any leftist that wants to take that away from him is sort of being hypocritical, no? Secondly, I find it amazing that all the news outlets and the members of Congress who are giving him pushback are the same people and the same outlets that completely ignore when Muslims like Ilhan Omar say horrific things about the Jews, Christians, and America. So it's a one-way street. Then, of course, there's just the reality in the statement. You know, unlike other religions, Islam is completely out of control when you measure it against what American society is and what this country was built on. We sit on the Constitution, and yes, there is the freedom of religion. But when you look at Islam, it does not mix well. It's oil and water with what it is that our principles stand for. First of all, in the Islamic religion, women are looked at as being less than that of a man. Anybody who tells you differently has never read passages throughout the Quran. Number two is, if you decide in America no longer to be a Christian and you want to leave and become a Jew, you can do that. And you don't have to worry about getting your head chopped off. In Islam, you now become the infidel, and you should suffer death. In fact, the difference between America and Islam is that in America, we separate church and state. In Islam, they want Sharia law. They want it to be the combination of the two. So when you've gotten a religion that comes into America and wants to take it over and fundamentally change everything about America because they want to enforce and spread Sharia law and the craziness that comes along with a religion that says that it's entitled to kill you if you don't allow them to pray the way they want to, or that if you disrespect their Allah. So there is no doubt Muslims do not fit in with American society. It wasn't a statement that should result in somebody being removed from Congress. It was a statement that Congress should really grasp with both hands, unless, of course, you too don't like the idea of America. If you want Sharia law, you leave. Ogles stays.
In honor of this momentous anniversary, I hope that all countries who find inspiration in our example will join us in renewing our commitment, values, and those values, really, that we hold so dear together. Let us defend free speech and free expression. Let us protect religious liberty, including for the most persecuted religion on the planet today. It's called Christianity. And let us safeguard our sovereignty and cherish
Now, for some reason, that does not look like Trump. That does not look like him. I don't know what it is. So, but what's being said here is still legit.
Qualities that have made each of our nations so special, incredible, and extraordinary.
Now, my dear friends, as I sit right here in my chair, sharing these happy, grateful tears, America is a beautiful home for people who cherish the Constitution and the wonderful Judeo-Christian values that planted our deep roots. Under his careful watch, as our 47th president today, we see a military that is strong and proud, wrapping a blanket of safety around our families.
That's coming in, and I know
Moment, as I speak these words to you, knowing he is fighting for us, fills my old heart with so much golden hope. His beautiful vision is protecting the very soul of America. It makes me cry happy.
Look at this
moment.
Look at this farmland. This is where a proposed 400-acre Muslim-centric city with over 1,000 homes, a mosque, K-12 schools is supposed to be set up. So there are a couple of homes out here, but imagine living out here in rural Texas, having no neighbors, it's super quiet, and then all of a sudden you're hearing about this 400-acre city that's coming in. And I know a lot of people have concerns about whether or not they have the infrastructure out here for it. So this is the location of where Epic City might potentially be built. Also, let's not forget, as of March 2026, no construction permits have been issued, no ground has been broken, nothing has officially been built. The state is still actively fighting the creation of this city. However, this is the land that was purchased, and this is where it is potentially going to be. So craziest thing about what's happening here in Josephine is this isn't the only location where this is going on, and apparently another city similar to this is being proposed in Kaufman, Texas.
We found out that there was going to be a proposed Muslim development in Kaufman County. The residents were obviously very fearful of that. We've seen Epic City all over the news for months and months and months now.
And walk us back to the beginning of all of this. Who first got wind? How did all of this start?
So I have a source within Kaufman County, and they were saying, hey, listen, you should take a look at some of these county meetings from back in November and October of last year, and tell me if you see anything odd about this. And at first I'm watching this, and you know how county meetings can kind of be, they're a bit dry. And then all of a sudden I get to this one spot where there's this Dallas law firm that's representing a foreign company coming over trying to buy land in Kaufman County, but they're being really cagey about who is actually owning the land. And thankfully a concerned resident stands up at the end and says, I know that this isn't, technically part of the procedure, but y'all never explained to us who is the actual holding company or the developer coming in to try and buy this land. And then the lawyer had to get up and explain that it was SE Holdings. And so then I go and I start looking into who is SE Holdings, and I find out that it's a Dubai-based company who builds Muslim cities over in the UAE, and they're Muslim only. And on the face of it, it looks a bit innocuous. Okay, they're trying to develop out Kaufman County, and it's one of the largest counties in Texas. There's a lot of land out there. However, whenever you take the connection of what's happening in Epic City, what's happening in other parts of the United States, I mean, we've had 52 mosques built in the DFW area over the last several years. I think the residents started worrying, okay, well, if we have a Muslim-only developer coming in from UAE, what does that mean for Kaufman County? Surely it's going to be a Muslim-only development. And the crazy thing about this is that they were supposed to have a closed-door meeting on March the 6th about this. Well, the residents found out about this closed-door meeting, and they were all planning on showing up, unannounced, uninvited, all of the things, and they cancel it last minute because they don't want the pushback, and the company just doesn't want to have to deal with the residents actually speaking to them and being upset about it. All of this to say, I talked to Representative Lance Gooden today, and he said that there's no more cause for concern, that he talked to the developers. The developers are going to move on for Kaufman County. However, I will say that there is cause for concern because, from my sources within the county, this is not the first place that SE Holdings and the developing companies have tried to go into for this particular development. My sources are saying that they started in McKinney, residents declined their offer there, then they went to Rockwall County. Same thing, residents rose up and said, we don't want this here. Then they went to Hunt County, same exact situation. Hunt County said no, then they moved on to Kaufman.
And really quickly too, for viewers who don't know the geography of Texas, are these people working north to south?
Yes, north to south. So imagine, you're kind of moving like this, as a whole movement down the south, just trying to find a county that'll accept them. I think more than likely where you'll see them next is popping up in Anderson County or Henderson County. They both have massive aqueducts that are going underneath it. And when I was talking to residents in Kaufman County, especially someone that deals with septic a lot, they were saying the biggest problem with this, not even on the social cohesion side, but just on the infrastructure side, they would need 3 different water districts to house this many people and to be able to put this development in there.
Hi, I'm JT, and I made Result Hunter, the search engine for conservatives. Let me just...
The question is not what they believe. The question is, what is it we believe? Look at Europe. That's the cradle of Christianity in the West for 1,000+ years. Where are they? Churches are empty. Churches are being burned. Nobody seems to care. Churches are now being turned into mosques, while our faith is being decimated. Do you think there's enough people in Europe that could see the spiritual threat, that could speak in spiritual terms to what is actually happening to their civilization? No. The Christian world, the Judeo-Christian world, cannot survive if our Christian tradition is a Christmas and Easter habit. It doesn't happen. When things go bad, we're tested as people, as spiritual beings as well. And the decades that are coming, I hope it's decades, the time that is coming, it's going to force us into a decision. And we really need to know who we are and what we believe. Chaos will reveal them and us. It's not about oil. It's not about nuclear weapons. If the world is coming through and heading towards a spiritual confrontation, are we ready? Is our faith strong enough? Is our civilization grounded enough? Because when push comes to shove, a civilization that doesn't believe in its own moral foundation or even know what it is won't defend it.
The president of the Islamic Society of Milwaukee, and the federal government now has him locked up. The Society of Milwaukee just got done with a news conference. Jason Calvi with what they had to say, and Jason, his family was also there.
This whole room was packed with supporters, elected leaders, as well as religious leaders, all with questions and condemnation. The Islamic Society of Milwaukee's president is Salah Sarzour. ICE records show they've locked him up at the Clay County Justice Center in Indiana. The ACLU and Democrats condemn the arrest. That list includes Milwaukee Mayor Cavalier Johnson and Congresswoman Gwen Moore. The Islamic Society of Milwaukee says it happened Monday morning after the org's president, Salah Sarzour, left his home. They say he's been the volunteer president for 5 years and has lived in the Milwaukee area for 32. The senator says he's a lawful permanent resident, and his wife and 6 children are U.S. citizens.
We will keep fighting for him until justice prevails, until he's out reunited with his family, his grandkids, and the new grandkid that's coming up next week.
I think that you have to peel back the curtain just a little bit and actually look at the facts of Mr. Sarzour's history, and in fact the history of the organization that he is involved with even today.
That was a scholar at the George Washington University's program on extremism. Now here at the Society, they admit that Israel twice arrested Sarzour, including once as a teen. They say that's why the government, the United States government, claims it wants to deport him now. The Muslim Legal Fund of America is representing him. They say more than 10 federal agents surrounded Sarzour. The group has filed petitions in court to get this detainment reversed. In Milwaukee, Jason Calvi, Fox 6 News.
And in a statement from ICE just into our newsroom, the agency says Sarzour is suspected of funding terror organizations and lying on immigration forms. They say, quote, Sarzour first submitted an application for a visa at the American consulate in Jerusalem, which was denied due to his convictions in Israel for throwing a Molotov cocktail at homes of Israeli armed forces and illegally attempting to possess weapons and ammunition. This criminal and terrorist will remain in ICE custody pending removal proceedings.
Let me share something with you right now that is making my soul sing. As I sit here talking to you in this exact moment, I'm hearing the most beautiful stories from real. The message today is so incredibly strong and clear. Sleep. It is wide awake and full of light. We are a family, and when we see one part of our family stand up with such beautiful, God-given bravery, it lights a warm, cozy fire in all of us. I am just weeping happy tears today. My friends.
Their illness all over the world, in America and in the Middle East. In America over here, people have the freedom to, again, like I said before, commit zina, do OS fahisha, but when you speak up, it's a problem. Non-Muslims are tired of this cancer. They're tired of the American government. They're tired of democracy. They want to see a new way of life. And as Muslims, we have to understand that we have that new way of life. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent as a mercy for all of mankind. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He was sent as a mercy. Why? Because the way of life he brought will bring that mercy. The way of life he brought will bring that tranquility to Muslims and non-Muslims. Non-Muslims don't have to worry about these issues they worry about now. They don't have to, because Islam is a just religion that has come to be implemented upon.
Well, what is shocking watching these images that you play, Chanel, is throughout our history, and we are a nation of immigrants. You are talking to a first-generation immigrant who flew to America in 1989 on the TWA. So we have had immigrants in this country, and we have had immigrants get elected to office who were Buddhist or Irish or Italian or whatever they were. We have never seen this display of foreign culture or a foreign religion in our country, because those who won before, who came from different countries and spoke a different language and practiced a different religion, they ran as Americans, they won as Americans to serve America. Not a foreign government, not a foreign religion, not a foreign people. Their loyalty was to the United States of America. And so we are seeing today the transformation of our culture and our society. And this is a cultural war. And this is an Islamic invasion and subjugation. Look, I come from Lebanon, which is now a majority Muslim country. We did not start that way. When I was born in my lifetime, Lebanon went from majority Christian country to today a majority Islamic country. How did that happen? Subjugation. And by the way, even in a majority Muslim country in the Middle East right now, whether you go to Jordan or Egypt or Lebanon and Syria, you do not see people shutting down the street to pray. You do not see people praying in the public square. People who want to pray go to mosque. They don't do this. But we are seeing this in Western nation because this is a symbol of power. They are sending a message. We will conquer you. We will control you. We will dominate you. We will win election and do it democratically. And at the end of the day, it may not happen today, may not happen 10 years from now, but 50 years from now, America will look like Londonistan and New York is being transformed. And that's why, by the way, Chanel, I tell people, if you are concerned about what you're watching right now, if you realize we have a major problem in our country, join us, become engaged, become active. Go to actforamerica.org right now. Actforamerica.org. Join us. Start a chapter in your community. Volunteer. We have 1 year to basically organize a nation before the midterm election. And thank God, by the way, this happened now. So we have a year to organize before the midterm election. Can you imagine if this was a midterm election and the Republicans lost the way they did?
So I always go visit the chapels in airports. I like to see what airports still have chapels. You know why?
and a lot of them are disappearing. But Dallas has recently reinstalled their chapels. They used to have 2, then they had 0, and now they have 3. I've been to 2 of them today, and they're not really chapels. They're basically mosques with the word chapel on it, and it's mostly just prayer rugs, no crosses, a few Bibles. Very hostile environment. When you go in there during prayer time, I actually refused to leave, and I stayed and prayed through all of the men's prayers. They were not happy because there was a woman in there, but they did it anyway. So I want to encourage everybody to find a chapel when you go through the airport. Find your chapel, go in there and pray, and if you cross with you, leave it. I don't like this.
My dear friends, as we sit together right now sharing these beautiful tears, I want you to just pause and think about our incredible history for a moment. Think about how this magnificent country of ours was originally born. Hundreds of years ago, brave moms and dads packed up their little children and sailed across a giant, scary ocean. Do you know why they made that long, hard journey? They came here so they could simply fold their hands and worship God with completely free and happy hearts. Those brave pilgrims and our wise founders planted a beautiful golden seed of faith right here in this soil. They even put the special words "In God We Trust" right there on our money, just to remind us every single day of who holds us so carefully in his hands. Over my many, many years on this earth, I have watched our country grow so... No, they...
Every knee should bow.
in America.
Good evening, terrorists, muzzies, suicide bombers. Lend me your ears. Since you're bowing down towards me, you better at least listen. So you know that you need Jesus Christ instead of your stupid pedophile prophet Muhammad. You see, if you're going to pray in Texas, you better have a Christian in the band, because we don't want no Muslims blowing up like Pakistan, okay? And God sent his son Jesus, who became nothing and got destroyed by wicked people. Even though he was equal with God, he made himself nothing and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. And because of that, God has exalted him and given him a name which is above every name. That the name of Jesus, every knee should bow and every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Your religion is full of hate. That's why it has to claim mercy and compassion in every salah. Oh, Allah, the most merciful and compassionate. Kill, kill, kill. No. Yeah, she thinks it's funny, right? Because she's a kid. She wants to know the truth.
Welcome, ma'am. Thank you for joining us.
One of the things I realize that people are not pointing out here today is there are lots of other developments exactly like Epic that are popping up all over North Texas. And it appears that they're all connected through their financial arm, which is the Community Capital Partners. So some of the cities, the other cities involved, besides Josephine, where the Epic City is proposed to be built, there's Blue Ridge, Celeste, St. Paul, Aubrey, and Saxe.
That was funny. He was like, kill, kill, kill. The little girl started laughing because they lying as hell, and she know it.
And then there's been recently announcements in the news of multi-million-dollar expansions in McKinney and Frisco. So I think these are all connected, and I'd like everyone to be aware of that. Another thing is I'd like to direct people to X. On X, there is a lady, her name, she goes by @AmyMeck, M-E-K. She has a ton of information about what's happening. And this is not only happening in Texas, but it's happening in other states as well. I think one of your previous speakers spoke about Patterson, New Jersey. That's spelled with one T. The group took over the New Jersey Town Council. They also took over the Sheriff's Department. They took down the American flag and they've raised the Palestinian flag. And at their press conference, which is on the Amy Meck website, at Amy Meck on X, you can see the news conference, and they are calling that the new capital of Palestine in America. And they're also saying that it is the 4th holiest city in the world. So we need to be aware of these things. This is not just a group that wants to, like people have said before, assimilate. These are self-segregated communities. And they require, according to the contracts, because I read them, when you buy a lot or you build a home, you have to pay into the mosque and you have to pay into their Islamic schools. Dearborn, Michigan recently passed a law where all public schools have to have halal meals now served. So this is what we're looking at. They're trying to change our culture. And another thing is of course, we talked about earlier the 2 news press releases, one by Ken Paxton about the Epic City, the Community Capital Partners, the ongoing investigation, and then also Governor Abbott released a news story about looking into the Texas Fair Housing Act. And if I could, I printed these out. I'd like to leave these for each of you to review at a later time. Thank you.
Thank you. You'll leave those with the page, That'd be wonderful. Thank you.
We are going to train 100,000 Christian ambassadors to be ambassadors in their own country for the state of Israel, to defend Israel's brand and to combat anti-Semitism. Now, the beautiful part about this is we're partnering with Blackboard. Blackboard is the largest platform in the world, serving Harvard, Yale, all the major universities. We'll train these wonderful Christian evangelicals so that they can fulfill what I am doing for the state of Israel. Secondly, we're creating FOSS-I, an online academy to train tens of millions of evangelicals. The power of the evangelical muscle is enormous. It represents almost 1 billion people. But no one ever harnessed it, and we're doing that here. The second thing I want to announce is in our Friends of Zion Museum, we are going to build the Donald Trump exhibition. No president in American history has done more for the state of Israel than Donald Trump. And we're the ones that got President Trump elected, and we'll do it again. He who defines the terms controls the debate. The media center is indeed a gift to Israel. You can use it for any event you want with the foreign ministry, etc., because we are doing this all for Israel. It's all about Israel. There's something even bigger that we are focusing on, even bigger than a great prime minister. It's called the state of Israel, the majestic state of Israel. That is not a banana republic. It's not a place. It's distinguished for the first time in history. This precious nation has the respect of virtually the entire world, with the exception of Iran and North Korea, with the exception of Syria. And that's such a compliment. My wife's made enormous sacrifices for me in leadership. And when I married her, I said, I have to be honest. There's another woman in my life. She said, what? I said, Israel. I love her so much. I have to be with her a lot.
Right now, as we share this very special moment together, I want to talk about the beautiful peace of mind that comes from knowing our country is strong again. Loving God and loving America with all our hearts, He showed us that it is wonderful. Who is looking into his child's eyes today, teaching him to always be brave, to always be kind, and to always stand up for what is right. It is a joyful triumph for every single loving grandparent, just like...
Let's see what's cracking up here. Uh-oh. Hold on. Wait a minute. There's something I can't see. Ooh, there's something I can't see. Alright, hold on. Let me see. What else do we got? Nah. Let me look for some more stuff then. Let's go back a little bit more. Yeah, we'll hit that knowledge well one more time. China's over here building combat robots. It's crazy. Now that's some crazy talk. I am working on that book. All right. I am working on that book, and I think I'm gonna put the peace plan out as a manuscript, so I can publish it. So I'm not gonna let this agreement get sidelined. I'm gonna try to do my best to continue to promote it, even though X like banned me and shit, whatever. But this one right here too.
Imagine being able to build anything.
They told us it couldn't be done. For years, we were told that the British people had no choice but to sit back and watch. Watch as the streets of our capital city were handed over, march after march, year after year, to people who openly celebrated regimes that despise everything this country stands for. They told us the law wouldn't allow it. They told us the politics wouldn't allow it. And more than anyone else, one man stood in front of that argument and made it his personal mission to ensure nothing would ever change. Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London. The man who has presided over this city for nearly a decade and somehow, some way, managed to make Londoners feel like strangers in their own home. Well, something just happened. And I want you to understand exactly what it means, because the media, the mainstream media, they're going to bury this. They're going to spin it. They're going to call it a temporary measure, a one-off, a response to exceptional circumstances. But I'm telling you right now, what just happened in this country is not a small thing. It is not a footnote. It is the beginning of something that the British establishment has been terrified of for a very long time. The British people pushing back and winning. Let's go back to the beginning, because context matters here, and I'm not going to give you the sanitized version you'd get from the BBC. The Al-Quds Day March, 40 years. 40 years this thing has been rolling through the streets of London. Every year during Ramadan, thousands of people would pour into the center of our capital city and march. And what were they marching for? They'll tell you it's about Palestine. They'll tell you it's about justice, about solidarity, about speaking truth to power. But let's be honest with ourselves for once, shall we? Let's actually look at what has happened on these marches. Hezbollah flags.
Yeah, we're gonna look at this, because I don't think people are really understanding what's going on. And if you do understand what's going on, you know why I'm doing this. And you know, there's something else I noticed. I always have the open panels. A lot of people don't come up here because they know they can't just get away with saying whatever they want and acting however up here. They know that. So that's why I call this good TV right here. You feel me? We're getting informed, we're seeing the truth, and we're seeing what's really happening, the stuff that they're not trying to let us hear, and the stuff that's getting buried, the stuff that's getting pushed under the rug because they don't want anybody to see it. But guess what? Trash is trash, and you're gonna have to throw it away.
Openly, proudly, waved through the streets of London before Hezbollah was proscribed as a terrorist organization in 2019. Chants calling for the destruction of Israel. Placards that would make your blood run cold. And year after year after year it was allowed. It was protected. It was policed at enormous cost to the British taxpayer so that people could march through our streets calling for things that most decent British people find absolutely abhorrent. And who organized it? The Islamic Human Rights Commission. Now there's a name that sounds reasonable enough, doesn't it? Human Rights Commission. Very noble, very respectable. Except this is an organization with deep ties to the Iranian regime. The regime that has executed tens of thousands of its own people. The regime that stones women to death. The regime that hangs gay men from cranes. The regime that, as recently as early 2026, was slaughtering its own citizens in the streets for daring to protest. That regime and their cheerleaders were marching through London every single year, and we were paying for the police to protect them while they did it. And every time anyone raised their voice and said, "Enough is enough, ban this march," what happened? They were told no. They were told the law doesn't allow it. They were told you can't ban a peaceful protest. Which is a fair point in theory, except nobody could explain to me with a straight face how a march that has led to arrests for supporting terrorist organizations qualifies as peaceful. But that's the world we were living in. That was the Britain of the last decade, where common sense was considered extremism, and actual extremism was given a police escort. And at the center of all of it, defending it, legitimizing it, was Sadiq Khan. Because in 2017, when the London Assembly passed a unanimous motion, unanimous, every party, left and right, condemning the Al-Quds March, Sadiq Khan looked at that and shrugged. He said the march could not be banned so long as it was held within the parameters of the law. Within the parameters of the law. That was his answer. The democratically elected representatives of London said, "Get rid of it." And the mayor of London said, "Not my problem, nothing I can do." Now I want you to remember that phrase. Within the parameters of the law.
Right. So now we understand what was been. This is how it happened. Okay? For this whole UK. Now we get to get some history so we can figure out how to prevent it here. And I feel like there's some movements to prevent that shit from here. None of that Sharia shit. Shut it down. Welcome to America.
Because it's about to become very relevant. March 2026. The Metropolitan Police Commissioner Sir Mark Rowley goes to the Home Office. He says he needs the march banned, not restricted, not monitored more closely. Banned.
Banned.
He says the risk of serious public disorder has reached a point that justifies using powers under Section 13 of the Public Order Act. Powers so rarely invoked that the last time they were used was 2012. Powers that require the Home Secretary's personal approval. And Home Secretary Shabana Mahmood, a Muslim woman herself, which I think is worth noting, she approved it. She signed it off. She looked at the intelligence assessments, she looked at the geopolitical situation, she looked at what was happening with Iran, and she said, yes, ban it. And just like that, the march that Sadiq Khan had spent 9 years refusing to stop was stopped.
Yeah, she was like, no, we're done with this. She's from there, and she's like, nah, we're done with this. Why did she come here? To be away from that. So let's keep it that way.
In an afternoon, without his permission, without even needing to ask him. Now, the mayor was informed, as procedure requires. And to his credit, or perhaps just revealing exactly what kind of politician he is, Sadiq Khan did not throw himself in front of the decision. He made a little statement about how the right to protest is important and how this wasn't diminishing anyone's democratic rights. The mayor, who spent years saying it couldn't be done, quietly acknowledged that actually, yes, it could be done. He just hadn't wanted to be the one to do it. He just hadn't wanted to be the one to face the backlash from the community he has spent his entire political career courting. That's the truth of Sadiq Khan, and I think a lot of Londoners are finally beginning to see it clearly. This is a man who has never, in nearly a decade in office, been willing to take a single decision that might alienate his core vote.
Ever wondered what your home looks like from space? Enter your address.
Uh-oh, that's a trap. That's the biggest trap if I ever seen one. What? No way, I'm cool after that.
Not one. He has governed this city for a specific constituency, and the rest of London, the working class white communities of Outer London, the Jewish communities of North London, the moderate Muslims who are just as uncomfortable with extremism as anyone else, they have been an afterthought. They have been managed, not represented. And look, I know what the left is going to say. They're going to say this was about Iran, not about Islam. They're going to say the ban was a response to an exceptional moment in geopolitics, with US and Israeli strikes against Iran, with the conflict in the Middle East reaching a genuinely dangerous peak, and that Mahmoud would never have moved in a normal year. And there's something in that. I'm not going to be dishonest with you. The timing was obviously connected to what was happening internationally. But here's the thing. Here's what they cannot answer. The intelligence that justified the ban, the arrests for terrorism support, the links to the Iranian regime, the history of anti-Semitic hate crimes at previous marches, none of that was new. The Met Police knew all of this before 2026. They knew it in 2022 and 2019 and 2017. The information existed. The powers existed. What was missing was the political will. And what changed in 2026 was that the political will finally materialized. And that matters, because it proves something that the establishment has been trying to deny for a long time. That when the government of this country decides it wants to protect British values, it can. It has the tools. It has the laws. Section 13 of the Public Order Act has been sitting there since 1986. 4 decades. It was used in 2012 against the English Defence League. And then nothing, for 14 years. Not because there was no cause to use it. Because politicians were too afraid of the headlines. Now let me talk about what's happening beyond London, because this isn't just one story. This is a pattern. This is a country that is waking up. February 2026. Manchester city centre. Hundreds of Britain First protesters marched through the streets calling for mass deportations, chanting slogans that the polite commentariat finds deeply uncomfortable. Now, I want to be clear, I'm not here to endorse Britain First. There are elements of that movement that go further than I think is either reasonable or productive. But here's the question that the left cannot answer about Manchester. Why were those hundreds of people on the streets? What drove them there? What is the frustration that sends ordinary men and women, not monsters, not neo-Nazis, ordinary people into the streets of Manchester on a rainy Saturday morning to make their voices heard? Because the mainstream establishment has refused to engage with that question honestly. They look at those crowds and they see racists. They see bigots. They see people to be denounced and dismissed. They don't see what I see, which is people who have been failed. People who have been lied to. People who were told for 30 years that mass immigration was economically necessary, culturally enriching, and that any concern was hatred. People who watched their towns change beyond recognition and were told they were the problem for noticing. And now, because the legitimate political system spent a generation refusing to acknowledge their concerns, they are increasingly drawn to movements that at least have the decency to acknowledge that something has gone wrong. That's not a defense of extremism. It's a diagnosis. And the diagnosis matters, because if you refuse to treat the disease properly, the patient keeps getting sicker. What's interesting, genuinely interesting, is what Reform UK represents in this conversation. Because whatever you think of Nigel Farage, whatever you think of his party, they have done something remarkable in British politics. They have made it possible for people to express these concerns through a ballot box rather than a street protest. A party that is polling at 24%. A party that is calling for a burqa ban, for Sharia law to be made illegal, for the Muslim Brotherhood to be proscribed. Policies that would have been considered fringe, unsayable, politically toxic 5 years ago. And now they are the stated platform of a party that could plausibly form a government within the decade. Now, is that alarming to some people? Of course it is. And I think there are legitimate debates to be had about how far some of those policies go and how they'd work in practice. But the political trajectory is undeniable. The Overton window has moved. What the British public is willing to say out loud, willing to support at the ballot box, has fundamentally shifted. And no amount of calling people racists is going to shift it back, because people have realized that being called a racist is just the establishment's way of telling them to shut up. And they're not shutting up anymore. Let's talk about the mosques for a moment, because I want to be fair and I want to be complete. Yes, there have been attacks on mosques. Yes, there have been incidents of anti-Muslim hate crime, and I condemn those, unequivocally, without hesitation. British Muslims who are simply trying to live their lives, raise their families, practice their faith in peace, they are not the enemy. They never have been. The issue has never been, for most of the people I'm talking about, British Muslims who love this country and want to contribute to it. The issue has been the ideology, the extremism, the foreign-funded radicalism that has used British Muslim communities as cover for an agenda that most ordinary British Muslims find just as troubling as everyone else. And here is the cruel irony of the political situation we've been living in. Moderate British Muslims, the majority, the vast majority, have been poorly served by politicians like Sadiq Khan because he has governed as if the Muslim community speaks with one voice, and as if that voice is always the most radical one in the room. He has legitimized organizations and allowed events that many British Muslims privately think are an embarrassment. He has made it politically uncomfortable for Muslims to publicly disagree with positions that are presented as the community consensus, when they are nothing of the sort. The Muslim community in Britain is diverse, it is complex, it contains multitudes. But Sadiq Khan has flattened all of that in pursuit of a coalition. And the result? Islamophobic hate crime has been rising. Not because the government has been tough on Islam, it hasn't. It has been spectacularly weak. But because when you suppress legitimate concerns through political and social pressure, those concerns don't disappear. They find less legitimate outlets. The failure to draw clear lines around what is and isn't acceptable, whether that's marches supporting terrorist-linked regimes or pressure campaigns against women who choose not to wear the veil, has created a pressure cooker. And when pressure cookers aren't managed carefully, they explode. What the Al-Quds ban represents, at its best, is a government finally beginning to manage that pressure cooker properly, drawing a line, saying, there are some things we will not permit on the streets of our capital city because they are incompatible with British values and because they inflame tensions that end up hurting everyone, including the communities they claim to represent. The Islamic Human Rights Commission, predictably, responded by claiming the ban was politically charged and that the Metropolitan Police had, and I'm quoting here, capitulated to the pressure of the Zionist lobby. That is an anti-Semitic trope. A straightforward anti-Semitic trope, dressed up in political language, and it should disqualify the IHRC from any serious conversation about rights and representation in this country.
Tom Ogle.
If you respond to a ban by blaming Jews, you have told us everything we need to know about your priorities. What I find extraordinary is that the IHRC continues to receive any kind of legitimacy in public discourse. It is currently under investigation by the Charity Commission over funding concerns. Its links to the Iranian regime are not disputed, they are not even really denied. And yet for 40 years, this organization has been allowed to lead one of the highest profile marches in the British calendar, through the streets of our capital city, with police protection funded by British taxpayers. That is the world we have been living in, and it needed to change. Now, will this ban hold? The IHRC has said it's seeking legal advice and will challenge the decision, and I don't doubt they'll try. We live in a legal environment where certain kinds of challenges, supported by certain kinds of organizations, with certain kinds of funding behind them, can drag through the courts for years. I hope the government is prepared for that fight. I hope Shabana Mahmood and the Home Office have done their legal preparation properly, because the other side will absolutely find the best lawyers in the country and throw everything at overturning this. But even if the legal challenge succeeds, something has already changed. The precedent has been set. The political will has been demonstrated. It has been proven beyond any argument that when the state wants to act, it can act. When politicians stop hiding behind legalistic excuses about things being within the parameters of the law, actual decisions can be made. The tools exist. The question is always whether the people holding those tools have the courage to use them. And here is what keeps me cautiously optimistic, despite everything. There is a generation of politicians in this country who are beginning to understand that the old rules no longer apply. The old calculation that you could keep the loudest, most organized community voices happy and that the quiet majority would just go along with it, that calculation is broken. The quiet majority has found its voice. It found it in the Brexit referendum. It found it in the reform surge. It found it in public polling that consistently shows majorities for positions that the establishment considers unspeakable. Majorities for stronger immigration controls. Majorities that have doubts about the compatibility of certain Islamist-adjacent ideologies with British life. Majorities who think that 40 years of a march, linked to a theocratic dictatorship through the streets of London, was 40 years too many. That majority has been patient. Extraordinarily patient, I'd argue. It has worked within the system, it has voted, it has written to its MPs, it has engaged. And for too long, it was told its concerns weren't legitimate, wasn't valid. We're just racism wearing a respectable coat. But Britain's patience has not been exhausted. Britain's patience has been rewarded. Because the system slowly, imperfectly, belatedly, has responded. A march that should never have been allowed to become a 40-year institution has been banned. A mayor who thought his position was impregnable has been shown that the machinery of the British state does not require his blessing to do the right thing. And a political movement that represents genuine public concern, rather than manufactured elite consensus, is on the verge of real power. This is not the end of anything. It's not even close to the end. There are mosques in this country being used to preach doctrines incompatible with British law. There are communities in this country where the police are effectively unwilling to enter without significant preparation. There are Sharia courts operating in the shadows of our legal system. There are school children being pulled out of education by families who do not believe in the values that education is supposed to transmit. These are real problems, documented problems, and they require real solutions, not diversity officers and awareness weeks. But something happened in March 2026 that I think future historians will look back on as significant. The British state chose. It looked at a 40-year tradition of allowing extremism to parade itself as politics, and it said, not this year, not this March, not in our city. And Sadiq Khan, for all his talk about the joys of living in a democracy, for all his careful positioning and community management and political triangulation, Sadiq Khan couldn't stop it. He wasn't even asked to try. The British people spoke, through their elected representatives, through pressure on their institutions, through an election that sent a clear message about what they would and would not tolerate. And this time, finally, somebody listened. And I'll tell you this, now that it's been done once, now that the political class knows it can be done, knows that the sky does not fall in, knows that a march can be banned and the country continues to function, and the community does not erupt into the kind of violence that was always used as a threat to prevent action. Now that all of that has been demonstrated, it will be harder to justify inaction next time. And there will be a next time. There are a dozen decisions like this one waiting to be made, delayed by fear and political calculation and the desperate desire not to be called racist in a newspaper. Those decisions are coming. The question is whether the people in charge will have learned the lesson of March 2026. The lesson is simple. The British public has been right about this for a long time. They were right that some things should not be tolerated in the name of tolerance. They were right that a multicultural society requires actual shared values, not just a polite fiction that all values are equal. They were right that you can respect individuals of every faith and background while still insisting that certain ideologies, not religions, ideologies are incompatible with the free and open society that generations of British men and women bled and died to create and defend. They were right, and Britain is slowly beginning to catch up with its own people. That's not the end of the story. It's barely the beginning, but it's a start. And after 40 years of marches and mosque attacks and political cowardice and community tension and hand-wringing and finger-pointing and accusations of racism against anyone who dared to say enough, after all of that, a start feels pretty good.
We ever thought possible. I have to admit to you right now, looking into the camera.
All right, hold up. I think this is one of the ones.
Until we have done everything in our power to bring the United States to its knees, Let us not lose sight of the enemy. For every U.S. military base that crumbles, and for every U.S. soldier who returns home in a casket, we cheer!
America's fraud investigations bring us to the Golden State of California. Look at this number, $146 billion. Health and Human Service officials confirmed that number to Chris Rufo as the staggering amount of fraud in a single program in Gavin Newsom's state Medicaid system. Stop and think about that. $146 billion, a single program, a single state.
Gavin Newsom quits the Democratic Party, and the reason why is worse than anything you've seen in American politics this decade. $146 billion. That's the staggering amount of fraud reportedly ripped out of California's Medicaid program alone, confirmed to journalist Chris Rufo by Health and Human Service officials. One program, one state, your money. The Trump White House anti-fraud task force has already suspended hundreds of hospice fraudsters, and federal raids are escalating fast. But here's what nobody's saying out loud yet. The paper trail doesn't lie. And what it allegedly shows about exactly what Newsom knew puts him in a place no party switch can save him from. Prison, disgrace. The complete collapse of everything he built. What happens next to him is genuinely shocking.
It has been more than a year since fires destroyed entire neighborhoods across the Los Angeles area. By CNN's count, at least 16,000 structures in LA County, 16,000 homes, businesses, other buildings were destroyed or damaged in January 2025 because of the fires. 15 months later, LA County's permitting progress dashboard reports about 2,000 building permits have been issued. Just over 1,000 homes are currently under constructed. How many have been completed of the 16,000? 30. Not 30,000. 30. And there's another story lurking in those grim numbers, as CNN's Nick Watts has covered. Shockingly, all the losses have not stopped one of these homeowners associations from demanding thousands of dollars from its members and giving them just about a month to pay up.
It's just been the worst year ever, and this is the cherry on top.
52 homes in this community burnt to the ground in January 25, many more damaged. Ryan Harmon had to flee.
I want to go home. Look at that.
They still haven't moved back. Like so many, he's been dealing with, sometimes fighting with, insurance companies, mortgage companies, contractors, and then a letter arrived from the Homeowners Association.
We were all like, what? You have to read the letter a few times to go, are they really saying that? Are they really threatening me?
Here's the letter from July. A demand for $23,614 to replace fences, irrigation, shrubs, and trees.
What? What? Bruh. That's insanity. No way. I'm out. Immediately. I'm bouncing. This ain't no, We out of here. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. 23. Bruh. That's some bullshit. Alright, first of all. Second of all. Hell nah.
Just 34 days to pay or face late fees and interest. For those with hardship or questions, please contact the management office for possible assistance. At least one lawsuit has been filed for non-payment.
Gavin Newsom is the governor of California. He runs the most populated state in America. He controls hundreds of billions in taxpayer dollars every single year. And for years, he has been positioning himself as the future of the Democrat Party, the guy who was going to take on Trump and rescue the left. That's the pitch. Here's the reality. California's Medicaid system, that's the government health insurance program for low-income Americans, has been hit with what investigators are now describing as roughly $146 billion in fraud. One program, one state, and that's not the only scandal on the table. The Pacific Palisades fire victims, 16,000 structures destroyed, are still waiting to go home. 15 months later, 30 homes have been rebuilt. 30. Meanwhile, some of those same homeowners are getting legal threats in the mail. And the streets of Los Angeles look like something out of a third world documentary. This is what Gavin Newsom's California actually looks like. And this is why it matters to every taxpayer in this country. Now, before we go any further, let's talk numbers on that Medicaid fraud, because the figure sounds almost fake until you stack it up against things you already understand. $146 billion. That is more than Warren Buffett's entire estimated net worth. It is more than the GDP of several small countries, and it dwarfs the value of the most expensive NFL franchise in America. All of that allegedly looted, mismanaged, or fraudulently billed out of a single California government program. Prosecutors and federal investigators have now moved in, and just this week, the Justice Department announced 8 arrests connected to hospice fraud schemes in Newsom's state. One couple running a hospice care center in Anaheim is accused of defrauding taxpayers out of $7 million alone. Authorities reportedly sawed through the metal front gate of their property to serve the warrant. That kind of operation doesn't happen overnight. These schemes reportedly ran for years, and California had the licensing authority the entire time. The state issued those licenses. The state was supposed to regulate those facilities. An auditor reportedly called on California to pass stronger regulations by January 1st of this year. They didn't. Now we know why the federal government had to step in.
Ted, LA County launched this investigation that Rachel just brought up. And the numbers we're seeing, January 2025, State Farm drops more than 2,000 county LA area residents. That's 5 months before those fires started. Why did they do that?
Well, I think they were doing it because they were losing money. They probably...
Yo, dropped all them people right before them fires. Nah, they knew exactly what was gonna happen. They knew exactly what was gonna happen. Yo, that's not even cool, man. Yo.
We had too much concentration actually in that LA basin. That's no excuse for not paying out on claims and making sure that claims are being paid out in a timely manner and in a fair way. But we have huge challenges in the state of California. You also have to look to the governor and the legislature and what have they done in terms of putting the right infrastructure in place to fight fires, and also the wildfire aspect. What are we doing to manage our forests properly? So you've got the insurance commissioner with challenges that we've had over the years from a regulatory standpoint, creating onerous regulations that have actually forced companies out of the market.
Saturday in America's fraud investigations bring us to the Golden State of California. Look at this number, $146 billion. Health and Human Service officials confirmed that number to Chris Rufo as the staggering amount of fraud in a single program in Gavin Newsom's state Medicaid system. Stop and think about that. $146 billion, a single program, a single state. That is slightly more than Warren Buffett's estimated net worth. It is more than the GDP of several small countries like the Marshall Islands and Dominica, just to name a few. And it is well over $100 billion more than the most valuable NFL team, the Dallas Cowboys. That is just for Medicaid, just in California. So imagine what the total number of fraud is when you count all the social programs in all 50 states. The Trump administration is imagining that, and they are now taking action in a stunning raid of hospice facilities in Gavin Newsom's California. Now, just this week, the Justice Department announced 8 people were arrested accused of defrauding the state out of more than $50 million. That includes one couple who runs a hospice care center in Anaheim. And in dramatic fashion, authorities swarmed their residents, sawing through the metal front gates of the property, and used a loudspeaker to get them to come outside. The couple is accused of defrauding taxpayers to the tune of $7 million. And according to reports, their center has been a problem for years.
That breakdown you just heard, 16,000 structures, 15 months, 30 homes completed, that's not a statistic. That's a failure of governance so severe it's almost hard to process. And then layer on top of that, some of these same homeowners are receiving letters threatening legal action over unpaid HOA fees. $23,000, 34 days to pay, or face interest and late fees. People who lost everything. Families who can't go home, being handed invoices. And the insurance side of this is just as ugly. State Farm reportedly dropped more than 2,000 LA County residents 5 months before the fires even started. 5 months. The very people who needed that coverage most were already exposed. And the governor of California, the man who oversees insurance regulation in that state, stood by while the market collapsed under the weight of his own regulatory overreach.
Dr. Oz, our viewers are grateful that you are taking action. And I just want to confirm that amount from you, $146 billion. That's one program in California. How big do you think this fraud is nationwide?
Well, the $146 billion is the total amount of the Medicaid program. So obviously not the whole program is fraudulent, but there's significant amounts of it. We believe nationwide it's about $100 billion in Medicare and Medicaid. Okay, let me give you an idea of what that really means to the American people, because these numbers become science fiction after a while. If you're worried about Medicare being there for you, the golden safety net that we have, the crown jewel of our program, and you're worried it's going to expire because the trust fund's in trouble, this fraud, getting rid of it, will double the life expectancy of the Medicare trust fund. That's a massive increase in numbers of years of extra Americans who can trust that the program will be there for them. The amount of wasted money drives up the cost of all health care. And of course, when we're facing an affordability crisis across the board, this is a perfect place for all of us to focus. And Democrats have a hard time defending that they've been looking the other way for the last 4 years.
The state has been, he claims, targeting fraud for years and years. Watch.
2021, we did a moratorium on new hospice program. 280, we shuttered. We've been after this for years and years and years. We want an open hand, not a closed fist. We absolutely are here to be a partner to go after waste, fraud, and abuse. No one's denying these issues. But let's also not deny this is purely political.
Okay, here's a different take, though. Here's a headline on Substack. Gavin Newsom's empire of fraud. Newsom is not untouchable, and the scale of fraud in California appears far larger than in Minnesota. Despite his claim to have taken decisive action against one form of fraud, the broader problem is real and ongoing. And taxpayers in California and across the country have reason to be furious.
So you've got fraud in the billions. You've got fire victims living in limbo. You've got insurance companies retreating from the market. And then there's the street level picture. Post offices surrounded by encampments, rats, stripped copper wire, mounds of garbage. A fire station right across the street where reportedly 80% of calls are homeless related. One councilwoman's office claimed to have invested $27 million in the area. Wow. $27 million. And what that bought was what you see in that footage. This is the Gavin Newsom record, not the press releases, not the book tour, the actual record on the ground. And people are starting to say it out loud. Even voices that used to give him the benefit of the doubt are done pretending. The gap between California's branding and California's reality has become impossible to paper over.
I'll give you the final word here on Gavin Newsom and how much more fraud you think you're going to uncover in that state.
Yeah, in response to the governor, not good enough. Not good enough. They've not taken fraud seriously for over a decade here in California. They've let people out of prisons. They've decriminalized it. I call him the fraud king for a reason. He has reigned over billions and billions of dollars of fraud, whether we're investigating homeless fraud, EDD fraud, and now hospice fraud. It's going to be into the hundreds of billions of dollars under his watch. Remember, none of this fraud could happen unless California issued these licenses. California is responsible for administering hospice programs, licensing these doctors, and they're supposed to have passed regulations by January 1st of this year that were called by the auditor in California. Said California does not have sufficient regulations to crack down on fraud. He's refusing to implement those regulations because he doesn't want to own the problem. We're going to do our job. You're going to see a lot more fraud. We're going to work hand in hand with this task force, and I think it's going to be in the hundreds of billions eventually.
Only on Fox 11 tonight, a U.S. post office overwhelmed by trash and homeless encampments. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf with more.
It's unbelievable that this post office is even open. Customers maneuvering around trash and homeless encampments. The image is shocking. So this is the entrance to the post office right here. Disturbing conditions right outside this downtown LA post office, somehow still open, surrounded by trash. Mounds of garbage flooding the parking lot, old TVs, stripped copper wire, and rats. You know what it's like out here?
girls and not work.
Some people living here for years, others months.
You know who you're talking to. You can't trust anybody.
Is it safe?
No.
Oriana Montero inviting us into her encampment. Inside a dog, shelves, a fan, even a refrigerator.
It's not even done yet.
How do you guys get power?
Obviously,
this is a post office.
Honestly, we're blessed that they haven't said anything.
Right across the street is one of the busiest fire stations in the city of LA. They say 80% of their calls are related to the homeless. Do you worry about your safety?
It's crazy, yeah. Yo soy de Guatemala.
This group from Guatemala. They say help from the city has been hard to find. I see that, Aida?
No. No, ahorita no.
In a statement to Fox 11, Councilwoman Eunice Hernandez says they've been monitoring the area with outreach and a cleanup planned next week.
I've been sleeping at bus stops. I've been paid by men.
But encampments and trash remain outside the post office, where some say they want help.
I'll jump on it in just a second.
And they haven't done that?
No, not over here.
The councilwoman says they're going to be out here as early as next week, clearing it all up and offering resources.
$19 million on a PR firm to make California look better to outsiders, because the people who actually live there already know. And the people who used to live there, they left. They're in Tennessee. They're in Texas. They're in Florida. They didn't move because of the weather. They moved because the cost of living is crushing, the streets are dangerous, the businesses are struggling, and the government keeps telling them everything is fine. That is the product Gavin Newsom is trying to sell to the rest of America as a presidential candidate. A state people are fleeing in record numbers. Los Angeles County alone reportedly saw its highest single-year population loss of any county in the country. And his answer is a $19 million ad campaign aimed at people on the outside. But here's where it gets worse, because even the housing solution turned out to be a trap. Newsom signed a bill, AB 130, that he promoted as the fix to California's housing crisis. Lower costs, more homes, a path forward. Except buried inside that bill was something that never made the headline.
I tell you, Gavin Newsom is sure working overtime to convince us that California is the place to be, even though everyone is leaving California. My neighborhood in Tennessee, filled with Californians, right? And they didn't come to Tennessee because the weather's better. They came because California is such a god-awful mess. There are so many places we could go with this, but I love that when he's touting his record, he's talking about the $25 an hour minimum wage. That's driving out businesses. He's talking about their exceptional environmental record, okay? Gas prices are out of this universe in California. And you've got the Palisades. People can't even rebuild. You've got rolling blackouts. People can't run their air conditioners in the summertime. So don't tell me about your wonderful record there. And if California's so great, why are they spending $19 million on a flashy New York City PR firm to help make the state look better for tourism purposes? Gavin, you're not even believing your own BS.
VMT, vehicle miles traveled, a charge on every new single-family home. Because if you build a new home, someone's going to drive to it. And in Gavin Newsom's California, that's apparently a crime that comes with a price tag. Investigators into that bill are now estimating the charge at $1,350 per month for 20 years on every new single-family home built in California.
All right, VMT. Do you know what that is? You need to know. VMT. It stands for Vehicle Miles Traveled. And it's yet another sneaky, stealthy way that the Democrats in charge of California want to gouge you for the crime of driving your car. So this latest version, I mean, this comes on top, by the way, of the highest gas taxes in the country, highest vehicle registration, everything they can do to punish people who drive. This thing we've dug into was actually started in something that Newsom touted as the solution to the housing crisis, to bring down housing costs. It's a bill last year called AB 130. And hidden away in it is this thing called the VMT Mitigation Bank, a new tool for housing and infrastructure. What it actually does, according to some estimates, is to charge you for every new single-family home. Remember, they don't want single-family homes. They're trying to punish single-family homes. They want to stop single-family homes from being built. And so they're going to put this charge on it, VMT, because if you build a new home, people are going to drive to their new home. That's vehicle miles traveled. So to try and stop all that, because they want to shove apartment buildings into existing neighborhoods instead of building new single-family homes, they are trying to sneak in a charge, wait for it, of $1,350 per month for 20 years on every new single-family home. And this is in the bill, the AB 130, that Gavin Newsom said would solve the housing crisis. They don't want to solve the housing crisis. They don't want to solve anything. They just want to charge you more, and in return, you get less. That's why we need change in California. When I'm governor, all this nonsense will be scrapped.
They snuck a generational tax into a bill they called the solution to housing. That's not a mistake. That's a philosophy. They don't want single-family homes. They want to pack people into apartment buildings in existing neighborhoods. They want to control how you live and where you drive and what you build. And they will charge you quietly through a mechanism most people have never heard of until someone digs it out of the bill language and puts it on camera. That's the California model. That's what Gavin Newsom is asking the rest of America to adopt. The fraud investigations are not going away. Federal investigators say this is just the beginning, that the hospice bust is one thread, and when you pull it, hundreds of billions more in waste and abuse will follow. The people of California deserve better than a governor whose legacy is becoming a catalog of financial scandals, regulatory failures, and broken promises. And the people of this country deserve to know exactly who Gavin Newsom is before he gets anywhere near a national stage. That's the truth they don't want trending. You're watching Freedom Insight, and we're not done.
Can we deduct our kid?
Alright, so we're getting somewhere. But I think we watched this. Alright, so this is leading us up to, we already did these right here. Yes, the Muslims tried to burn down a church. This is wild right now. People are losing their minds. All right. There's this huge, oh my gosh. I'm really getting disappointed in the way the world's kind of handling this. But wait. All right. I really appreciate that everybody has their own way of living, their own culture. These things are awesome. Don't get me wrong, okay? If we can't live where we can all just do our own thing and be cool with each other, it kind of hurts the society altogether. It really does. It hurts us all. Whoa. And it's starting to look like a religious war, you know? It's crazy. This is why are they acting like this? Their religion is supposed to be a religion of peace, but why are they acting like this?
Oh, the great Mary!
You see, this is do we go to their mosque and do this? This is wild. Now, I expect that from them, but at least they still like America, and they're not trying to force Sharia law.
Ladies and gentlemen, Muslims reportedly cursed the name of Jesus directly outside a Christian church. Right there, on holy ground. Then Christians had enough and physically forced every single one of them out. Israeli soldiers mocked Jesus and Mary inside a Lebanese church. Transgenders publicly staged a full crucifixion parody in Colombia. 3 separate attacks against the same faith in one news cycle. Every time the church stayed quiet, it only escalated. Not this time. What's being done to the Muslims who got removed? And what's building against Islamic groups across this country? Stay with me. It's not over.
I lost my girlfriend. I'm a Tom Shelby. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna kill people tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beard Squad just walked into a house of God.
What? Wow, really?
And they didn't come to pray. Here's what you need to know up front. We are not talking about one incident. We're looking at a documented pattern, multiple countries, multiple churches, Muslim individuals entering Christian worship spaces with a specific message. Not interfaith curiosity, not a misunderstanding. Threats, disruptions, demands, and in at least one case, fire. This is about public safety, cultural sovereignty, and whether Western countries still have the spine to protect their own sacred spaces. This matters to any parent who sends their kid to Sunday school. It matters to any taxpayer importing this problem without being asked. It matters to any woman who walks into a church expecting to feel safe. The question isn't whether this is happening. The question is why we keep acting like it isn't. So, somebody filmed himself walking into a church in Sarawak, Malaysia, and while standing in front of an image of Jesus Christ, openly stated, "I will kill someone today." On camera. Posted it. Thought that was fine.
Good evening, terrorists, muzzies, suicide bombers. Lend me your ears. Since you're bowing down towards me, you better at least listen. So you know that you need Jesus Christ instead of your stupid pedophile prophet Muhammad. You see, if you're going to pray in Texas, you better have a Christian in the band, because we don't want no Muslims blowing up like Pakistan, okay? And God sent his son Jesus, who became nothing and got destroyed by wicked people. Even though he was equal with God, he made himself nothing and became obedient to the point of death, even the death of the cross. And because of that, God has exalted him and given him a name which is above every name. That the name of Jesus, every knee should bow and every tongue should confess that Jesus Christ is Lord, to the glory of God the Father. Your religion is full of hate. That's why you have to claim mercy and compassion in every salah. Oh, Allah, the most merciful and compassionate. Kill, kill, kill. No. Yes, she thinks it's funny, right? Because she's a kid, she wants to know the truth.
What's notable isn't that an unhinged person exists somewhere. They exist on every continent. What's notable is that he felt completely comfortable posting it. That's the signal. Something in the culture around him decided this behavior was documentable, shareable, consequence-free. No community pushback. Nothing. And here's the contrast that should genuinely bother you. Walk into a mosque with that energy and film it, and you're in federal custody within 48 hours. That asymmetry, that's the whole story right there. Now, this next moment is different. A preacher showed up at a Muslim prayer gathering outdoors, White Rock Lake, Dallas, Texas, and started preaching the gospel right in the middle of it. I'll be honest with you guys, I generally cannot stand obnoxious street preachers. They produce heat over light. They hand the other side the image they need. I believe that genuinely. But this one, I'm genuinely conflicted.
Allahu Akbar.
good evening, terrorists. That is commitment to an opener. That man made a decision when he woke up, and he went all the way with it. And look, what he's arguing theologically isn't fringe. Every knee shall bow, every tongue confess, Jesus Christ is Lord. Philippians. He's asserting his faith in a public park in Texas. Confrontational? Obviously. But here's the thing nobody in corporate media will ask. Is that meaningfully different from a Muslim standing outside a church screaming? And why does only one of those situations get a magazine profile about dangerous radicalization? You guys have probably noticed this double standard. It's everywhere. Consistent. Christian preaches at Muslim event. Dangerous provocation. Muslim disrupts Christian worship. Cultural expression needs context. One standard, applied one direction. The asymmetry isn't an accident. It's enforced. Let me break something down for you guys before we go further, because it reframes everything else. The concept is called hijra, H-I-J-R-A. I'm going to pronunciate this. Wait, I just said a word that doesn't exist. Pronounce. I'm not editing that out. In Islamic theology, hijra refers to migration as a form of religious duty. Goes back to Muhammad's migration from Mecca to Medina to establish Islam in new territory. Moving to spread the faith isn't just permitted. In the classical framework, it's considered righteous. A sacred obligation. Now connect that to what's happened in Western Europe over the last 50 years. Mass Muslim immigration. Mosques go up. Islamic community centers. Then Sharia councils. Basically unofficial Islamic courts operating inside Western countries. Handling divorce, inheritance, family law, sometimes in direct... I want to be honest. I genuinely don't know if this was a deliberate provocation or a confused person. I'll give a fragment of benefit of the doubt. But consider this simple reversal. If you walked into a mosque during Friday prayers, sat down, and started reciting the Lord's Prayer out loud, you'd be removed. Probably not gently. Every major network would have a rising Islamophobia segment the following morning. Do it in a Catholic church? Nothing. Because the culture has been engineered, slowly, deliberately, to treat Christian spaces as public property and Islamic spaces as protected ground. One is accessible. One is sacred. Not tolerance, a hierarchy. Ladies and gentlemen, Bristol Cathedral. Founded 1140. 880 some years of Christian presence in one building. And in recent years, they opened it up and converted it into a mosque space for Ramadan.
Breaking news. Terrorist organization Islamic State has issued a chilling Easter weekend that urges Islam's worldwide set fire to churches and synagogues across the US, Europe, Russia, and India. Oh, wow.
That's wild to me. I'm genuinely trying to find a charitable read on that decision, and I cannot locate one. Who approved it? What meeting went? The 880-year-old Christian cathedral. Perfect venue for Islamic worship during Ramadan. The bishop's enthusiastic? And while you're searching for that story, also look for Christians celebrate Easter inside historic mosque. It doesn't exist. The cathedral opened its doors because the people running Britain right now were never going to back them up. Because the Sharia-curious establishment has decided appeasement is the strategy. And some churches comply. Some churches don't. The ones that don't, some of those get burned. The Vondelkerk Church in the Netherlands. 150 years old. Allegedly set on fire by Muslim migrants. And around the same time, ISIS, the actual functioning terrorist organization, issued a directive for Easter weekend, urging Muslims worldwide to burn churches and synagogues across the United States, Europe, Russia, India. An operational terror directive on Easter.
Disgrace, you disrespected the space.
No.
You disrespected the space.
Oh my God! How does it look like?
Jesus was a Middle Eastern Jewish man who lived...
Show me the proof. Where's your proof?
The proof is in the Bible. It's in history. Josephus.
I'm here for you to teach me about the religion.
I'm telling you.
I'm passionate. I want to know God, the real God.
Yeah.
The one and only true God.
And yet you stood there and you disrespected the space.
No.
You disrespected the space.
That's demonic possession right there.
Ladies and gentlemen, do you understand what we're actually describing? A functioning international terror organization issued a target list that included every church in the Western world on Easter weekend. And I watched mainstream media coverage that week. Led stories, the economy, a political dispute, something somebody posted online. The ISIS Easter Church directive got one brief mention, buried. Blink, miss it. I'm not going to call it a cover-up. I genuinely think the media is just that ideologically captured. They're not hiding it because they're coordinating with terrorists. They're hiding it because honestly covering it would require admitting that a significant and militant strand of Islam is functionally at war with Western Christianity. And that conclusion destroys 20 years of editorial policy. So they look away. Will they ever correct the record? Probably not. Should they? Obviously. Now this next one happened on American soil. Los Angeles. A Muslim woman walked into a church shouting, Allahu Akbar, and declared she was there to kill, in her words, the God of the Jews.
وأن محمدا رسول الله. الله أكبر. من هذا مشان واحد يكون هيك عن ربع من أهل الجنة. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأن محمدا رسول الله. ما شاء الله أكبر.
You disrespected the space. Yes, that is the accurate assessment. Look at this interaction. Somebody in the congregation is trying to have an actual theological conversation with her. Jesus was a Middle Eastern Jewish man. She comes back. Show me the proof. She walked into this church to kill God, and now she wants citations. She is passionate. She is telling you. She wants to know the real God. She's cooked. And the congregation held their ground, kept their composure, removed her. They handled it themselves. No help coming from the Democrats running Los Angeles, who spent a decade explaining why Christianity is the actual threat to American democracy. Very busy right now. I'm sure they'll get to it eventually. Meanwhile, Trump, the travel ban, immigration enforcement, the explicit political framework that some ideologies are functionally incompatible with Western freedom. Nobody was willing to say that out loud until Donald Trump made it a political priority. Nobody. That's competence, an adult reading the actual data. They called him a fascist for it. I remember. This last one isn't America. It isn't Europe. It's Syria. And I'm including it because I want you to see where this pattern terminates when there's nothing left pushing back. An elderly Christian woman, sick, bedridden, in her own home. Muslim men came in and gave her a choice. Say the Shia right now. Declare the Islamic faith, or we take your medicine and let you die. Ladies and gentlemen, what we're describing has a historical name. Dhimmited. A dhimmi is the term for a non-Muslim living under Islamic rule, tolerated, but subordinate. In the classical caliphate, non-believers paid a tax called jizya, a submission fee for the right to exist in Muslim territory without converting, accept second-class status, or face the consequences. That was the medieval arrangement. In Syria, apparently, it's still the arrangement. In an elderly woman's home, sick and bedridden. And here, the Democrats organize marches for women. They pass equity resolutions. They build careers protecting Muslim communities from any scrutiny whatsoever. And they vote reliably every single time to expand the immigration pipeline from the countries producing exactly this. You march for women's rights on Saturday. You vote to protect the ideology that does this on Tuesday. Pick a lane. Here's where I land. The pattern is documented. The churches are being tested, some holding, some surrendering, at least one burned. I want to believe the West still has the will to say no. Some days I do. Other days, I actually don't know. And I'm not going to pretend otherwise. The fight is real. The people pushing back are real. Whether there are enough of them, we'll see. Thank you all very much for watching. Goodbye.
I'm definitely not letting them take my spot. They not finna come and force that on me. I can't get with it. I'm not gonna let my women get treated like that. I love Jesus. If you try to kill me for that, well, Jesus told us to grab our swords. And remember in that passage when he asked them he said, go get swords, and they pulled up and they said, we got 2. And he was like, all right, that's enough. See, I got 3, but I'm just saying. So we're allowed to defend ourselves. All right, as Christians, we are allowed to. He gave us permission to, but we couldn't stop him from being crucified. So when Peter cut dude's ear off, that was him saying, hey, wait, you can't stop me from going to the cross because this has to be done. There's a time for that. You see what I mean? So there's a time for peace, there's a time for war. Let's just go ahead and be real about it.
Welcome to Fox 35 News Plus. Breaking into your normal programming here is President Donald Trump, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, that is General Dan Kane, Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, inside the briefing room at the White House, giving an update right now, speaking about the mission to rescue the pilot shot down over Iran over the weekend. Let's go ahead and listen in as this news conference gets underway.
Ever attempted by the military? Generally, when planes are knocked down in war, especially when you're fighting a strong group, an evil group, you can't really do this because you send in 200 men to pick up one, and it's something that's usually not attempted as much as you want to attempt. And bad things happen to that 1 or 2. And in this case, we did 2, and it might not have been attempted before, but we did. And we had great talent. We got a little luck too, I would say. And we were helped by a lot of people, a lot of great people. And it was an honor to be involved with it. It's very historic. This is a rescue that's very historic. It'll go down in the books. Late Thursday night, an American F-15 fighter jet went down deep inside enemy territory in Iran while participating in Operation Epic Fury, where we're doing unbelievably well, well at a level that nobody's ever seen before. The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night. Both members of the crew ejected from the aircraft and landed alive. On Iranian soil, I immediately was asked to make a decision. I ordered the U.S. Armed Forces to do whatever was necessary to bring our brave warriors back home. A risky decision, because we could have ended up with 100 dead as opposed to 1 or 2. It's a hard decision to make. But in the United States military, we leave no American behind. We don't do it. Within hours, our armed forces deployed 21 military aircraft into hostile airspace, many flying at very low altitude, being shot by bullets. You bring rifles into play when you're going that low, but there are also certain advantages. And in broad daylight over Iran for 7 hours at times facing very, very heavy enemy fire. We have a helicopter that's got a lot of bullets in it. It's amazing. We just realized how good those weapons are. Our machines are. Nobody has the equipment that we have, and nobody has the military that we have. Not even close. The most powerful military anywhere in the world by far. The flight crews and warfighters aboard those aircraft took extraordinary risks to rescue their fellow service members. This first wave of search and rescue forces successfully located the pilot of the F-15, and he was extracted from enemy territory by an HH-60 Jolly Green II helicopter. Fabulous machine as our warriors faced gunfire at very close range. It's amazing that when you look at the machinery, what happened, that nobody was even injured. Meanwhile, the second crew member, a weapons system officer, highly respected colonel, had landed a significant distance away from the pilot. When you're going at those speeds, even if you go out 2 or 3 seconds later, it's miles and miles away because you're going fast. He was injured quite badly and stranded in an area teeming with terrorists from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps rough group, as well as besieged militia and local authorities. Many, on top of everything else, they told the communities actually within inside of Iran, the people of Iran, they were given a tremendous incentive to find this pilot. Despite the peril, the officer followed his training and climbed into the treacherous mountain terrain and started climbing toward a higher altitude, something they were trained to do in order to evade capture. They want to always go as far away from the site of the shoot down. You want to go as far away because they all head right to that site. You want to be as far away as you can. And he was injured, and he was an amazing, amazing thing. He scaled cliff faces, bleeding rather profusely, treated his own wounds, and contacted American forces to transmit his location. They have a very sophisticated beeper-type apparatus that is on them at all times. And when they go out on these missions, they make sure they have lots of battery space, and they're in good shape. And this one worked really well, amazingly, saved his life. We immediately mobilized a massive operation to retrieve him from the mountain holdout, and he kept going higher and higher. The mountain kept getting rougher and rougher, and really very, very hard to find. The second rescue mission involved 155 aircraft, including 4 bombers, 64 fighters, 48 refueling tankers, 13 rescue aircraft, and more. We were bringing them all over, and a lot of it was subterfuge. We wanted to have them think he was in a different location because they had a vast military force out there. Thousands of people were looking. So we wanted them to look in different areas, so we were scattered all over like we were right on top of them. We had 7 different locations where they thought, and they were very confused. They said, well, wait a minute, they've got groups here, they've got groups there. It's an amazing thing. I was listening to these great people, these great generals. General Raisin Kane was amazing, and Pete Hegseth was amazing, but I listened to the whole thing, it was pretty amazing. So they had all these different sites where everybody thought he was located. We think we have him over there because they have 9 planes circling a little area that's 25 miles down the coast. So in a breathtaking show of skill and precision, lethality and force, America's military descended on the area, the real area, engaged the enemy, rescued the stranded officer, destroyed all threats, and exited Iranian territory while taking no casualties of any kind. The heroic F-15 weapons system officer had evaded capture on the ground in Iran for almost 48 hours. That's a long time when you're in tough shape and when you're bleeding. It's a long time. When we left, as you probably know, we had 2 large planes, pretty old planes that carried a lot. We needed a lot more equipment going in than coming out, obviously, because going in, we needed to be able to scale mountains, and we had a lot of equipment. But the sand was sandy, wet sand, so we thought there may be a problem taking off because of the weight of the plane, and then we also had all the men jumping back onto the planes, and they got pretty well bogged down, and we had a contingency plan, which was unbelievable, where lighter, faster aircraft came in, and they took them out. We blew up the old planes. We blew them up to smithereens because we had equipment on the planes that, frankly, we'd like to take, but I don't think it was worthwhile spending another 4 hours there taking it off. So we didn't want anybody to have, we have the best equipment anywhere in the world. We didn't want anybody examining our anti-aircraft and other equipment. So these were large planes that were old and pretty old, and we blew them up. And we had faster, lighter planes come in, and they were able to land on the sand. We needed the bigger planes because we had so much equipment that we needed. We took 3 helicopters over there, which were very strongly used, and couldn't have lived without them. They performed unbelievably well. And if you'd see it, you wouldn't believe it. They came off the plane, and these guys had them, the rotors were off. They rebuilt these helicopters in less than 10 minutes. And that was one of the more amazing things. These are helicopters, small, unbelievably powerful, but small, very small, so it can get into certain areas. And they got them off the plane, and they rebuilt all 3 of them in a matter of less than 10 minutes. It's pretty amazing what the genius of these people. Who would think that? You'd think it would take 5 days to build them. And in some companies, it would take 5 days, and they wouldn't do it well. But they served us well. As Commander-in-Chief, I never forget the extraordinary risk taken by the warriors that we send into battle, and the genius. I mean, think of it, having a contingency of 3 planes waiting because we think the sand is so bad that we probably won't be able to take off. And the planes really got bogged. This was not much of a runway. This was a farm, not a runway. It's a farm, but it did the trick. But to have a contingency as opposed to having to wait 2 days, can you imagine? Right in the middle. This was central. This was right. You would call it central casting if you were doing a movie for location. And probably the toughest area of Iran where we'd be sitting there. So these planes came in, those pilots came in so fast and so quick and got out of there. Everybody got aboard and just got
in the Iranian
15-minute intervals. One
crazy.
load out, one load out, one load out. It happened. And we were watching and we said, that's amazing.
Lie,
in
Trump
many ways, I was almost more impressed by the contingency that we had than the fact that we would have a runway or decent soil, but it was an amazing thing. But we thank God for every single one of them and the talent, the genius. It's not even talent; it's genius. It's the whole ball game, every one of them.
Bush was.
Now, if you look at what we did with Maduro, we went into a military compound, a massive, with thousands and thousands of soldiers, and within a matter of minutes, and he lived behind iron doors. There were steel doors, broke them down so quickly, and within almost minutes, he was in the back of these planes. It was a similar group, incredible. We have incredibly talented people, and if the time comes, we move heaven and earth to bring them home safely. We're going to bring our people home safely. I want to thank every member of the U.S. Armed Forces involved in these historic operations. They really were historic. It's just not something that's done. And you'd understand it. Not that they don't want to do it, but when you're going into areas, when you look at these helicopters, when you look at the amount of bullets and everything else that they took, when you go into these areas, you don't come out like we came out. God was watching us. Well, it was the Easter. We were in Easter territory, I guess, but God was watching us. It's amazing. Because when you look at the machinery, they took damage. It tells you. First thing I said is, these are unbelievable machines, how they flew back and not even much of a problem. But these two extraordinary rescues, because it was two, and as you probably know, we didn't talk about the first one for an hour. Then somebody leaked something, which we'll hopefully find that leaker. We're looking very hard to find that leaker and talk about there's somebody missing. They basically said that we have one and there's somebody missing. Well, they didn't know there was somebody missing until this leaker gave the information. So whoever it was, we think we'll be able to find it out because we're going to go to the media company that released it, and we're going to say, national security, give it up or go to jail. And we know who, and you know who we're talking about. There's some things you can't do, because when they did that, all of a sudden, the entire country of Iran knew that there was a pilot that was somewhere on their land that was fighting for his life. And it also made it much more difficult for the pilots and for the people going in to search for him. All of a sudden, they know that there's somebody out there. They see all these planes coming in. It became a much more difficult operation because a leaker leaked that we have one, we've rescued one, but there's another one out there that we're trying to get. So actually, the country, Iran, put out a major notice, you all saw it, offering a very big award for anybody that captures the pilot. So in addition to a hostile, very talented, very good, very evil military,
Got us with another commercial, my bad, guys.
we had millions of people trying to get an award. So when you add that to it, but we have to find that leaker because that's a sick person. Probably didn't realize the extent of how bad it was. I can't imagine that person did, but we're going to find out. It's national security, and the person that did the story will go to jail if he doesn't say, and that doesn't last long, and I think everybody would understand it. They put this mission at great risk. They put that man at great risk, and they put the hundreds of people that went in looking for him, because everyone now knows that we're going in. Over the past 37 days, America's armed forces have carried out more than 10,000 combat flights over Iran, unheard of, striking more than 13,000 targets. The F-15 we lost last week was the first manned aircraft down by the enemy in this entire operation, with thousands and thousands of flights. They got lucky. It was a lucky hit.
That's what it sounds
You know,
like.
eventually you get lucky. But
I've always
we got lucky too
wondered.
because we got both of them back.
I've always wondered that. Okay? I've always wondered that. Why do we always tell everybody what we're gonna do? The stuff, like, when we're... This is a very complicated position that the government is in. Because we're supposed to be transparent, but anybody can view our media over here. Anybody and everybody has access to American media, but we don't have access to theirs. And I think it's people in the United States that are the leakers, the people itself. All right, because y'all's a bunch of snitches.
But it's a record that is unparalleled in the history of military air operations. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. It's such an honor to be involved with it. We were up late at night, and then we were waiting for those contingent planes to come in, and we said, come on, let's go get in, because they're waiting out on this farm without a runway, with wet, crummy soil, sand, mostly sand, wet sand, and it eats planes alive, and we're waiting, and we're saying, I hope that one can land and take off. And they came in like magic, boom, 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 one after another. It was like genius. I'm so impressed by that. because we were a little concerned. We said, boy, if they don't get in and get up fast, we're sitting in them. And that's called Iran Prime, right, General? That's where the whole bet is. And here we are sitting there waiting for a plane. But they came in so fast and so hard, and these guys knew exactly what. Let's go, come on, get in, let's go. Blah. They came one right after another, not at the same time. They don't want to come at the same time. They had to come right after each other. They didn't have any room. There was barely any room to land. Tiny little patch of very wet earth and sand. So I'm so proud of the people that I have standing up here with me and many others at work. I mean, so many. Steve Witkoff's over here. He's doing fantastically. Jared Kushner. But the people that are here, the job they did is amazing. And I think I'm going to introduce the head of the CIA, and he is a man he's central casting, okay? If we cast a movie, he's going to play the head of the CIA. He's one of the few. John Ratcliffe, he did a phenomenal job that night. He did something that I don't know if you want to talk about it. If you want, you can. I'm not sure you're supposed to. I'm not going to talk about it. But the CIA was very responsible for finding this little speck. It's like they used an expression on one of the shows. A general was talking about, it's like finding a needle in a haystack, finding this pilot. And the CIA was unbelievable. And you may, if you can, you'll talk. It might be classified, in which case I'd have to put him in jail if he talks about it. And I don't want to put him in jail. He doesn't deserve that. So, John, do you want to say a few words? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's a privilege to be here with you today.
Yo, you see what the president did right there? He just flexed on this guy. So whoever dripped that little information about the pilot being missing, that was probably, that's probably something you don't want to mention to the public.
To share what we can about
I hope we learn from our mistakes.
This exceptional mission and to recognize the ingenuity and bravery of those who executed it, as well as the leadership and resolve of the president who ordered it. One thing that has been clear to me in this role is that the flawless military operations that the Department of War is known for are hostage to flawless intelligence. We saw that in the skies over Iran in Operation Midnight Hammer last summer. We witnessed it in Venezuela during Operation Absolute Resolve. We've seen it against the cartels in the Western Hemisphere, and we're seeing it every day in Operation Epic Fury, including this mission to rescue an aviator buried deep behind enemy lines. Because it is the unique tradition of the U.S. Armed Forces that we leave no man or woman behind, this was a no-fail mission. That was the spirit in which the president put us to work, and we were determined not to let him down or our airmen down. As an agency, the CIA possesses unique capabilities that only the president can deploy. Some of these capabilities fall under covert action authorities, and because covert means exactly that, I'm not going to be able to tell you everything that you want to know. At the president's direction, we deployed both human assets and exquisite technologies that no other intelligence service in the world possesses to a daunting challenge, comparable to hunting for a single grain of sand in the middle of a desert. This was also a race against the clock, as it was critical that we locate the downed aviator as quickly as possible, while at the same time keeping our enemies misdirected. For that reason, in addition to the human and technical assets deployed by the president to find our airmen, CIA executed a deception campaign to confuse the Iranians who were desperately hunting for our airmen. On Saturday morning, we achieved our primary objective by finding and providing confirmation that one of America's best and bravest was alive and concealed in a mountain crevice, still invisible to the enemy, but not to the CIA. That confirmation was relayed by Secretary Hegseth to the president, and the operation quickly moved to the execution phase. Following the successful exfiltration on Saturday night, our intelligence reflects that the Iranians were embarrassed and ultimately humiliated by the success of this audacious rescue mission. When the president asked me to lead the CIA, he made it clear: get back to basics, no politics, no agendas, tackle the hardest problems, and execute the toughest missions. This president is about results, and now that's what his CIA is about too. The professionals at the agency and at the Department of War deserve immense credit for their flawless execution during this daring mission. Their skill, creativity, and courage are unmatched on the battlefield wherever they step. But none of that matters, and all of that is wasted without a president with the political courage to put them into action. Mr. President, I've had the privilege of seeing you act with political courage in the best interest of the United States up close on a daily basis, and I'm grateful that this successful mission has given the American people a window into that as well. The Secretary and Chairman will tell you that our service members' confidence is boosted by a Commander-in-Chief who has their back the same way they have yours. And I know that the confidence of CIA's officers is boosted by the knowledge that their work is informing a president who's not afraid to make the hardest decisions when the stakes are highest. And to the American...
All right, so we saved our guy. I sent the document over to Senator Kelly, so it's on our live, it's documented. I sent him the document, okay? Honestly, if I need to, I could pull it up right now just to show the evidence, because they requested the document. And actually, I probably should, so that way, in the future, we can go back to that moment when I could have, when I gave my shit to, hey, we could have saved the world. Actually, that's a good idea. Let's do it. Let's do it. Alright, let's see. I think it was this one. Just so y'all can see right here, bam. See what I'm saying? I actually did this. See? Good evening. One of our staff members had reached out responding to a voicemail because I called him. Like I said, I'm a man of my word, y'all. This ain't no BS. I'm over here on my shit. Okay, this is a response, so you may submit your document in order to forward it to the correct staff member. Bam, right? Now, I replied to this shit. Okay? I replied to it. This is the email right here. Let's see, we'll go to send. See, I sent it, boom. I even sent it for the deadline too. Urgent. I hit him with the shit. Okay? Deadline, if they could put this on the table, see, boom, it's right here. We can end all of that. And I'm ready to brief whoever, I can talk to whoever, you see what I'm saying? CEO, you know what I'm saying? But real shit, this is real for a lot of people. But yeah, like, I'm trying to save some lives here. But I actually did that, y'all. Just so you know. Yup. I got some shit in my email, don't be looking.
Who has their back the same way they have yours. And I know that the confidence of CIA's officers is boosted by the knowledge that their work is informing a president who's not afraid to make the hardest decisions when the stakes are highest. And to the American people, your confidence should be boosted by knowing that the security of the nation is in the hands of a president who's willing to take on problems that have confounded both sides of the political aisle for nearly half a century. It is an honor to serve under a leader who just proved that you can believe him when he says, no matter what, we will leave no one behind. We will come for you. Thank you.
Well, John, thank you for the collaboration of the CIA as well, incredible and ongoing partnership. Now, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Americans, and especially the brave warriors in our armed forces, over this Easter weekend, the United States military has once again proved why we possess the greatest fighting force the world has ever known. In two extraordinary combat search and rescue operations deep inside enemy territory in Iran, our warriors executed missions of breathtaking skill, courage, and precision. When our warriors are unleashed, as this president has allowed them to be, they are unstoppable. When American airmen were down behind enemy lines, our forces and our president did not hesitate. Special operators supported by elite air crews and intelligence professionals moved swiftly and decisively into treacherous mountain terrain under the constant threat of Iranian forces closing in. Ultimately, it was an impotent Iranian threat. And today, as the CIA director mentioned, Iran's military, and we know this, is embarrassed and humiliated, and they should be. Now, these are not routine operations. They were high-risk, high-stakes missions conducted in the heart of enemy territory. This was not just barely into Iran, this was deep into Iran, involving coordinated strikes to suppress threats, deception tactics to protect our teams, and full synchronization across air, ground, and special operations. The Iranians are still asking themselves right now, how did the Americans do this? One downed airman evaded capture for more than a day, scaling rugged ridges while hunted by the enemy. When he was finally able to activate his emergency transponder, his first message was simple, and it was powerful. He sent a message, God is good. In that moment of isolation and danger, his faith and fighting spirit shone through. You see, shot down on a Friday, Good Friday, hidden in a cave, a crevice, all of Saturday, and rescued on Sunday. Flown out of Iran as the sun was rising on Easter Sunday. A pilot reborn, all home and accounted for, a nation rejoicing. God
is good.
Yeah, that was a smooth
Despite incoming
move
fire
right
and
there,
unforgiving
bro.
conditions, our
That
troops
was a
brought every
smooth
American
move.
home. No American lives were lost. We leave no man behind, and that is not luck. It's the result of unmatched training, superior technology, an unbreakable warrior ethos, and sheer American grit. Our special operators, pilots, and support crews performed with near perfection under fire, and they were lethal. Just ask any Iranian soldier who dared attempt to get anywhere near that pilot before or during that mission. Death from above. Our troops turned a potential tragedy into a resounding demonstration of American resolve and capability. That's what excellence in uniform looks like. But make no mistake about it, none of this would have been possible without the courageous leadership and ironclad determination of President Donald J. Trump. From the moment our airmen went down, President Trump made it clear we will leave no one behind. The first mission, the first of two, was an audacious daylight thunder run right up the middle. It was authorized in less than 2 hours from that pilot going down when we knew where he was. And it was authorized in the middle of the night, because anybody that's worked for this man knows he's up in the middle of the night. Authorized immediately, without hesitation, audaciously. The second mission, as soon as we knew where that pilot was, and John was certainly helpful in that, also executed immediately. You know, I looked up at my screen when the final mission was complete inside our SCIF, our secure facility. And we have a running VTC, a running coordination cell. And the top of it read 45 hours and 56 minutes. For 45 hours and 56 minutes, we held that call open for coordination. From the moment our pilots went down, our mission was unblinking. The call never dropped, the meeting never stopped, the planning never ceased. The president demanded rapid, decisive action. He backed our military with the full weight of his resolve, refusing to let enemy propaganda or tactical setbacks deter us. His leadership ensured that every lethal and non-lethal resource was brought to bear, that our forces had the authorities and the support they needed to succeed. When the president says he has the backs of our warfighters, he means it. And it means a great deal, and it's a big difference on the battlefield. President Trump understands that peace through strength is not a slogan. It is a doctrine that saves American lives. His unwavering commitment to rebuilding our military and restoring the warrior spirit has paid dividends in missions just like this one. Under his command, America projects power with confidence and brings our people home with victory. And that continues today, by the way. Per the president's direction, today will be the largest volume of strikes since day one of this operation. Tomorrow, even more than today. And then Iran has a choice. Choose wisely, because this president does not play around. You can ask Soleimani, you can ask Maduro, you can ask Khomeini. To those heroes who planned and executed these rescues, your nation stands in awe. I stand in awe. The chairman stands in awe. We all stand in awe of your professionalism and bravery. We serve for you. You embody the very best of America. To the rescued airmen and their families, welcome home. Your courage and endurance, the quiet declaration of faith amid the storm, inspires us all. God is good every day. And to our adversaries watching from Tehran, let this be a clear message. The United States military will go anywhere, at any time, to protect our own and complete the mission. We execute with precision. We control the skies. You see, we flew for 7 hours in daylight over Iran to get the first pilot. And we flew 7 hours in the middle of the night to get the second. And Iran did nothing about it. We fight with honor, and under President Trump's leadership, we win. So God bless our troops, God bless President Trump, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I know before I start, I know many of you want specific details in these briefings. We will share what we can, but I will retain what I must in the event that we have to go do this again sometime. And I cannot stress the importance, as the President said, around operational security. The Secretary and I will do a more detailed briefing tomorrow morning, and we look forward to sharing the details that we can. On Thursday, 2 April at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:40 in the morning, local Iran time, the Joint Personnel Recovery Center, which handles the Central Command area of responsibility, declared an isolated personnel recovery event for a U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle, call sign Dude 44, which was down in hostile Iranian territory. The pilot and weapons system officer had both safely ejected and were isolated behind enemy lines. Following confirmation of active rescue beacons and on the direction of the Secretary and by order of the President, a rescue operation was launched with the stated purpose of bringing both Americans home safely. As the Secretary said, several hours later on the morning after positively locating a front seater, call sign Dude 44 Alpha, and aware of an aggressive ongoing search by the enemy, a U.S. Central Command plan was approved by the Secretary and the President.
Oh, so do I want to do that? No. Do I want to?
Wait a minute. He was talking some smack. Hold on, I gotta go back.
Dangerous mission. But I will retain what I must in the event that we have to go do this again sometime. And I cannot stress the importance, as the President said, around operational security. The Secretary and I will do a more detailed briefing tomorrow morning, and we look forward to sharing the details that we can. On Thursday, 2 April at 10:10 p.m. Eastern Time, 4:40 in the morning, local Iran time, the Joint Personnel Recovery Center, which handles the Central Command area of responsibility, declared an isolated personnel recovery event for a U.S. Air Force F-15E Strike Eagle, call sign Dude 44, which was down in hostile Iranian territory. The pilot and weapons system officer had both safely ejected and were isolated behind enemy lines. Following confirmation of active rescue beacons and on the direction of the Secretary and by order of the President, a rescue operation was launched with the stated purpose of bringing both Americans home safely. As the Secretary said, several hours later on the morning after positively locating the front seater, call sign Dude 44 Alpha, and aware of an aggressive ongoing search by the enemy, a U.S. Central Command plan was approved by the Secretary and the President. Shortly thereafter, a U.S. Air Force Combat Search and Rescue Task Force, comprised of A-10 Warthogs in their Sandy role, and I'll describe what that is in a minute, HC-130 Combat King 2s, HH-60 Jolly Green 2 helicopters, and Air Force Special Warfare Airmen, a package comprised of combat rescue officers and pararescueman operators, audaciously penetrated enemy territory in broad daylight to find, fix, and recover Dude 44 Alpha from behind enemy lines. This was an incredibly dangerous mission, an incredibly dangerous undertaking, but a filled promise made to every American warfighter that you will not be left behind. We will always come find you, and we will always bring you home. Over the next hours, the Search and Rescue Task Force crossed the beach, entered into Iranian airspace, protected by a fighter strike package, and moved into the objective area, all under fire. En route, as some of you have seen on social media, the helicopters took gas off the C-130s and pressed onward and forward up into the objective area. While this was ongoing and out in front of them, the Sandy flight of A-10s and other remotely piloted aircraft, drones, and other tactical aircraft were violently suppressing and engaging the enemy in a close-in gunfight to keep them away from the front seater and allow the pickup force to get into the objective area. During this engagement, one of the Sandy aircraft, the one primarily responsible for communicating with the downed pilot, was hit by enemy fire. This pilot continued to fight, continued the mission, and then upon exit, flew his aircraft into another country and determined that the airplane was not landable. This was one of our A-10 Sandy aircraft. The pilot then made the decision to eject over friendly territory and was quickly and safely recovered and is doing fine. After picking up Dude 44 Alpha, the HH-60 Jolly Green fight was engaged by every single person in Iran who had a small arms weapon. And one of the aircraft, the trailing aircraft, took several hits. The crew sustained minor injury, and they are going to be fine. A note for those of you that do not know what a Sandy does. Named after the flight call sign that did this very mission in Vietnam, flying A-1 Sky Raiders and A-7 Corsairs, a Sandy has one mission: get to the survivor, bring the rescue force forward, and put themselves between that survivor on the ground and the enemy. They are committed to this. This is what they live for, and this is what they've trained for over many, many years. The A-10 force and the rescue force did a fantastic job rescuing Dude 44 Alpha. He was recovered Friday afternoon. As I said, and the nation needs to know this, this was an incredibly brave and courageous mission, and a testament to the courage, skill, and tenacity of the joint force and our leaders. And especially a daylight option, having the guts to try, means so much to so many. Meanwhile, the backseater, as the President and the Secretary have said, had continued to work and survive. Through the hours of daylight, Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater, evaded. Using every means available, the efforts of the United States military, the Central Intelligence Agency, and others were attempting to find and locate with precision Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater. A note on the backseater and the front seater. The single most important contributor to a successful rescue operation is the spirit of attack inside the heart of that downed aviator. Their will to survive, their will to evade, their will to recover is everything. In this case, the backseater's absolute commitment to surviving made much of our efforts possible. On Saturday, 4 April, after establishing positive communications with the backseater, we learned, as the President said, that he was injured and actively evading enemy forces. And thanks to our interagency partners, we were able to get eyes on his location and positively ID him. Throughout this entire time, the enemy force continued to search for 44 Bravo, and the joint force continued to strike them over and over and over again. Fighting off marginal weather in Iran and the enemy search for a second time on Saturday, at the recommendation of the CENTCOM commander and at the approval of the Secretary and the President, we launched a rescue task force to recover Dude 44 Bravo. Again, this came to the President and the Secretary for approval, this time with a much larger force package based on the time that the enemy had to prepare to find 44 Bravo. Again, this force was protected by A-10 Warthogs using the Sandy call sign. And this force had one single mission: do everything they can to bring an American home. This meant having a plan, being prepared to execute that plan, and, more importantly, being prepared for multiple, simultaneous contingencies. And because of this force's professionalism, grit, and determination, fight off two enemies at the same time: the enemy searching for 44 Bravo and contingencies, which anyone who has done these types of missions knows we run into every single time. The force fought off both of those enemies incredibly well. During the period of darkness on Saturday, and as the Secretary said, into Easter Sunday and into the daylight, the force fought its way in and rescued Dude 44 Bravo. They were protected overhead by an air armada, including tactical drones, strike aircraft, and others. The force fought through multiple simultaneous contingencies, something no other nation, no other military can do, and safely returned Dude 44 Bravo, the backseater, home, and all other Americans home as well. At midnight 12 local Eastern time, Easter Sunday, more than 50 hours after the start of this operation, the Joint Personnel Recovery Center declared Dude 44 Bravo, both the front and backseater, returned to friendly territory. The courage demonstrated by both the pilot and the weapons system officer while isolated and them invading the enemy cannot be overstated. Their grit and warfighting tenacity is a direct result of the absolute trust they have in our rescue forces, their training, and their will to survive and return. They always knew that we would be ordered to go get them, and they always knew that we would be coming to get them. These two operations reflect our nation's most sacred obligation to our military service members. We leave no one behind, bless you. It also perfectly captures the first truth of our Special Operations Forces, that people are more important than hardware. That is the standard we live by, and the rescue forces that execute these missions operate under a clear motto: these things we do that others may live. Their actions were a direct embodiment of that commitment to others, and I could not be more proud of each and every one of them today. As the Secretary said to our enemies, this operation serves as a clear reminder of the capability and will of America's joint force. The United States of America will recover our warfighters anywhere in the world, under any conditions, when we want to. We will always bring overwhelming skill and firepower. To every member of the Joint Force, our interagency partners, the leadership at CENTCOM, and our leaders at the department and above, thank you. I'm proud of each and every one of you, and thankful to our deployed forces and their families. And lastly, and most importantly, to Dude 44, welcome home. Job well done. Thank you.
Pretty amazing, pretty amazing. And these two gentlemen have been, from day one, they've been perfecto. You know, I got to know General Kane in my first term because he was able to take out ISIS in 4 weeks instead of the 4-year projection that was given to me by other much lesser generals. And I said, you know, if I ever do this again, that's going to be the head of my Joint Chiefs of Staff. And we worked it that way, didn't we? And it's amazing. He took out ISIS. We defeated ISIS in 4 weeks. I was told it would take 4 years. I flew to Iraq to find out with the greatest equipment in the world, why would it take 4 years? And he told me, sir, it won't. It'll take 4 weeks and you'll have time left over. And that's exactly what happened. So he's great. And Pete, all I can say is that he was treated very unfairly. And now those same people that treated him unfairly, that fought against him, that called me up saying, what a great choice he was. They said, well, what happened during his nomination? What happened to you? I'm telling you, people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine, sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they're calling me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic. And John Ratcliffe was incredible. It was actually their genius that called us from, it was 40 miles away. And he said, you know, we're seeing something moving up in the mountain. This is at night. And they kept the camera on him for 45 minutes. He wasn't moving. And they said, you know, probably wrong, but we're seeing something moving. This is a vast mountain, vast, thick, with bushes, trees. He said, we see something moving 40 miles away. It was the head of a human being, I'm telling you, it's moving. And then all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, he moved a lot. He stood up, and they said, we have him. And that was really the beginning of something incredible. We had an idea where he was, but not specifically. That's a big mountain. So I want to thank the CIA, too. I don't think they get enough credit for the great job they've done. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this great opportunity. Country it has, soccer army. You make a difference, Mr. President. Thank you for your greatest leadership.
Thank you.
I have 2 quick questions, Mr. President. What was your reaction when you learned that Kurdistan region had resumed exporting oil to the international market with your support as United States of America?
Well, I expected that. We've gotten along with the Kurds for a long time, so I expected that.
Another question, what would be your reaction if the Iranian people rise up against their regime during a ceasefire, Mr. President?
Well, they should do it, but again, the consequences are great. I mean, they were told you, if you protest, you will be shot immediately. You saw what happened to the young wrestler. He was a great champion, by the way. He was a great wrestler, one of the top in the world. And he and his 2 friends were hung. And all they did was say a little bit about liberty. They wanted liberty, and they were violently executed. But the number is up to probably 45,000 people were killed. So, you know, when somebody stays in a house, when they know if they walk out of the house to protest, they'll be immediately shot and killed. And they issued that, you know, that was publicly issued. It's not a secret. That's why so many people say, oh, well, why are you doing this way? We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. You know, we got regime change. We do. We're dealing with a much different regime than before. We're dealing with different people. They're smarter. I think they're sharper and far less radical. We have regime change, but we didn't do this for regime change. We did it for the fact, and my my view was very simple. I saw somebody said, oh, he doesn't have a plan. I have the best plan of all, but I'm not going to tell you what my plan is. You know, they want me to say, here's my plan. We're going to attack at 9:47 in the morning, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to... And if you don't do that, they say, I have a plan. These people know what the plan is. Everybody here knows what the plan is. But it's very unfair to say, because I don't mind being insulted. I've been insulted for many years by the fake news, but you can't... It's so bad for the people that are so pro. You just saw two great, and John Ratcliffe, three unbelievable people. They have a plan. Every single thing has been thought out by all of us. But I can't reveal the plan to the media. So, you know, but we're just thrilled by the success of this operation. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've said Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians have, and we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. Remember the great woman protests where they had 400,000, 500,000 women, and they were all enthused and they were going to protest, and everybody said, oh, the regime's going to come to an end. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, 5, 6 different areas. A woman would go down right between the eyes. They had snipers. They had 5 snipers. That's all it took. And those 400,000 or 500,000 women said, oh my God, what's that? Oh, look over there, what's that? A woman shot right between the eyes. And after 5 or 6 of them go down, then you start hearing the purr through the vast number of people. And then they said, oh my God, who would do that? And they're incredible people, but they've lived so horribly. They've lived so horribly. You know, Iran was a great country if you go back 25 years ago or so. The Persian people, they're incredible, smart, brilliant actually. And I know so many. I know coming from New York, originally I know so many people from Iran. They're incredible people, incredible energy, and very, very brilliant people. But when you're standing in a group and protesting and you have a woman, in the case of the woman, remember the Great Woman March, everybody was like, oh, this is the end of the country. And then snipers selectively picked. Every single one was shot right between the eyes from a long distance. They were on top of buildings. Nobody even knew where they were, where they're coming from. This wasn't like a machine gun, which is also very bad. They've done that too. They did that recently. This was snipers sitting on the top of buildings, aiming and hitting women. And when they see people go down, and all of a sudden there's a riot in the reverse direction, and they never came out again. And a lot of the news doesn't talk about it. They talk about, oh, women's rights. You want to see women's rights? You're not going to see it there. It's amazing when I see some of the stupid people, like, you know, AOC plus 3, all that group. They talk about, oh, freedom for Iran. They don't tell you the real facts. Women, men, gays. How about gays for Iran? They kill the gays. They throw them off buildings. So I wonder what's going on. I can only say this. They want us to keep bombing, even if it jeopardizes, because their life is in much greater danger. They want freedom for Iran, but it's very hard for them to protest. I actually tell them, I said, don't go out. I fully understand. Nobody in this room would go out. I don't think there's any, because frankly, it's not a question of bravery. We're all brave, right? You're brave, I'm brave, we're all brave. But we're also intelligent. If you have people shooting at you, expert shots with the best rifles you can get, and hitting you right between the eyes every single time, and you're looking here and you're seeing and you're looking here, you're out of there. I don't care who it is.
Mark Mayer, Fox News.
I know that.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead.
America's watching. Can we go back to the weekend? First,
I don't care who it is.
Mark Mayer, Fox News.
I know that.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead.
America's watching. Can we go back to the weekend? First off, was everyone on board with the operation, or were there people that were trying to talk you out of going through with the operation this weekend?
Not everybody was on board.
Somebody else within?
No, there was military people, very professional, that preferred not doing it. These two were totally on board, which was very important. They weren't, it had a little difficulty. But no, there were military people that said, you just don't do this. You don't go into the heart of a very powerful military. You know, this is, hey, you have countries and countries. You have some countries where military is not their strong suit. This whole thing is militarized like nobody's ever seen before. Half the people are wearing uniforms. And we had people within the military. Usually it's not done. That's one of the reasons. You know, I was surprised. Somebody said it's the only time it's ever been done. I said, that's not possible. But it is possible, because you're going into hundreds of thousands of soldiers along the path. I mean, look at some of the helicopters, how they got hit. So yeah, there were people within the military that said it's a wise. And don't forget, how many men did you send altogether, approximately, to the operation?
I'd love to keep that a secret.
Okay, well, but I will tell you, the number, I'll keep it a secret, but it was hundreds. And hundreds of these people, it's pretty good. Is he central casting? But hundreds of people went into this journey. Hundreds of people could have been killed. Forget about the equipment, a lot of equipment, nobody cares. Hundreds of people could have been killed. So we had people that were within the military that said this is not a wise, and I understood that, but I decided to do it.
Was there a point that that you were thinking there's too much on the line, and somebody was saying maybe we abort this now and wait? I mean, given the resource like the general said, it seemed like there was so much on the line here. You must have been thinking, well, this could have completely changed.
So the first one, which was in many ways as dangerous as the second, I guess it gets, because we're flying over daylight. You know, we're the best at the world at night. We have goggles that nobody, we have goggles, I've tried them, they're unbelievable. I see better with the goggles at night than I see without them during daylight. I mean, daylight today, we have a beautiful day. You see just as well with goggles. In many ways, it's enhanced. So we have the best of the world. So it's much safer for us to do it at night, whereas other people, no other country has that capability. They don't have that particular piece of equipment like we do. But when I was told, flying and in daylight, I think we flew 7 hours over Iran, and that's a long time, over unbelievably hostile territory where they have nothing but weapons. We took out their anti-aircraft, which is great. We took out their radar, which is great. We took out a lot, but they still have, you know, what hit this one was a handheld shoulder missile, heat-seeking missile. So it's not like, you know, they're totally whatever. And they had probably a little luck, because you got to get lucky. But they shot it, and it got sucked in right by the engine. But these guys were out of there. They were great. The timing was great. But no, I was told that this is a very dangerous mission. I understand. They didn't say it's a foolish mission. They said, you know, we're going to be sacrificing hundreds of people to do this. This is, I mean, you have tankers that are flying over this area so that because the flight was so long, they had to refuel. It's a very dangerous mission. I just felt it was worth it. If you would have told me that we would have been successful, gotten both, and nobody was even essentially injured, I would have said that would be impossible. Yeah,
Mr. President, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome back.
Okay. Given that you are now dealing, you say, with a more reasonable, less extreme leadership in Iran, what does that mean for the protesters, for the human rights movement in that country after this conflict?
Well,
What's your
positive.
expectation?
Yeah, if they assume control, if we do something and they assume control, I think it's very positive, a big step. I don't think you'd see the radicalization that you have seen in the last. Look what happened. I mean, women are being executed because they're not properly clothed, they say. They're not properly clothed, and they execute the women. They shoot them right on the street. No, you have a much different group of people. Now, I'm not saying we are dealing with them. Essentially, they have till 8 o'clock tomorrow night, Eastern time. But we are dealing with them. I think it's going well. Mr. Witkoff is here, and JG is involved in the dealing. Mr. Witkoff is sitting right here, and I think it's going fine, but we'll have to see. You have to understand, we've been dealing with these people for 47 years. I'm standing here with a much more powerful Iran as of a month ago, not anymore. Right now, they are decapitated. But I'm standing here a month ago with a much more powerful Iran than it was at any point during 47 years. This should have been handled by 7 presidents, a lot of presidents. And those presidents are saying now, every one of them to their friends, we should have done this a long time ago. So it's not something I like doing. It's very dangerous, and we're getting them at the height of their strength. If I didn't terminate the Barack Hussein Obama Iran nuclear deal, they would have had don't forget, that was a path to a nuclear weapon. Remember this. He chose Iran over Israel, pure and simple. How Israel can vote for a Democrat is, if you're Jewish in New York City or any place else in this country, and how you can vote for a Democrat is unbelievable, because he chose Iran, a very hostile Iran. Remember when he filled up a 757 with cash, billions of dollars of cash, and he sent it over to them. Then they gave them tens of billions of dollars. He chose Iran over Israel, and really the Arab world, if you look, because, you know, the other, Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, I mean, you take a look. I mean, I can add Kuwait, and I can add Bahrain, and you can add others. He chose such an unlikely candidate. Nobody could believe it. Frankly, if you're going to choose between Iraq and Iran, he should have befriended Iraq. He went in the exact opposite direction of all thinking, and he made a terrible mistake. But that was a road to a nuclear weapon. And when I terminated that, everyone said, oh, he terminated it. It was one of the best things we ever did, because he had a road to a nuclear weapon. And it was a very short-term deal. You know, countries don't do 10-year deals. Countries do hundreds of years. You don't do a 10-year deal. For a country, this isn't, you're a landlord, you're renting a store on a certain street, and you give somebody a 5-year or 10-year lease. This is a country. It was a short-term deal. It was ready to expire. I terminated it before it expired. It took a lot of heat, and it was one of the best things I ever did, because he would have had a nuclear weapon. Then he would have had another nuclear weapon, had those beautiful B-2 bombers not gone in 8 months ago, and obliterated that site. And by the way, the word is obliteration. CNN said, well, maybe it wasn't complete. It was so complete that they still haven't been able to get it. It was obliteration. But if we didn't hit them, that was a courageous decision, too, because we had all those planes flying in at night with very little cover, unbelievable stealth planes, and they were able to do their job. If we didn't do that, Iran would have had a nuclear weapon at a high level, either one of those 2 instances. And if they did, in my opinion, I told this to Bibi Netanyahu yesterday, Israel would have been extinguished. Large portions of the Middle East would have been extinguished, whether it's Saudi Arabia, Qatar, UAE, or others. And you saw that with thousands of missiles raining down upon them. They didn't think they were going to be hit. They thought they'd be watching us fight. And all of a sudden, UAE got hit by 1,500 missiles. He would have taken them out also. And they were powerful. If I didn't come along and terminate the Obama deal, which was terrible, the Iran nuclear deal was a road to a nuclear weapon, a big one, unlimited, legally, I terminated it without even much thought. It was so easy. I terminated that, and then the B-2 bombers. And I did one other thing. I had killed Qasem Soleimani, who was an evil genius. And the reason I did it, I heard he was going to knock out 5 of our military bases. And had he lived, I believe we would be fighting perhaps a different Iran right now because he's never been replaced, you know. And I did one other, but this one was not picked up. Osama bin Laden. If you read my book, I said you got to take him out 1 year before the World Trade Center came down. So I wish you'd read the book. But you, as a president, to be a good president, I believe you have to have good instincts, and a lot of this is instinct. Yeah, please.
Thank you so much for taking my question. Mr. President, last week you suggested that Europe should take the lead on reopening the Strait of Hormuz. Has circumstances changed now that you're issuing a direct 48-hour ultimatum? And secondly, would a new ceasefire include Israel, or would it just be between Iran
and the US? I can't talk about ceasefire, but I can tell you that we have a active, willing participants on the other side. They would like to be able to make a deal. I can't say any more than that.
You've listed technical President.
Who are you with?
My name is Diakuda. I'm with the largest critically out Huda Media Network. It's based in Iran. Mr. President, you said before that you don't want the Kurdish forces to enter Iran and be harmed. Do you still want them to stay away, or what role do you expect them to play now?
I'd rather have them stay away. I'd rather have them stay away because I think they bring with them some problems and some difficulties. And I don't think they bring death. I mean, you know, to themselves. But I'd rather have them stay away.
Thank you, Mr. President, for the question. Deliberate attacks on civilian infrastructure violate the Geneva Conventions and international law.
Who are you with?
I'm with the New York Times. Zolan from the New York Times. Are you
failing? Are you concerned? Circulation way down at the New York Times.
Are you concerned that your threat to bomb power plants and bridges amount to
No. I hope I don't have to do it. But again, I just said 47 years they've been negotiating with these people. They're great negotiators, and because they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And if somebody that takes my place someday is weak and ineffective, which possibly that will happen because we had numerous presidents that were weak, ineffective, and afraid of Iran, we're never going to let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And if you think it's okay for people that are sick of mind, that are tough, smart, and sick, really sick, from a policy standpoint, from a any which way you want to say, mentally, these are disturbed people. If you think I'm going to allow them, and powerful and rich, to have a nuclear weapon, you can tell your friends at the New York Times, not going to happen. Quiet. You no longer have credibility at the New York Times because the New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election, and I won in a landslide. I won every swing state. New York Times said, oh, Trump won't win the election. New York Times has no credibility. The credibility they have is it used to be all the news is fit to print. The old gray lady, it was great, but they're running on past fumes, and you can't keep doing that. You have to be able to give the correct news, and people like you, who I know, are fake. You're fake. Go ahead, please.
Your messaging on the war has moved from the war is coming to an end to we're going to be bombing Iran to the Stone Ages, and we've heard a range of those kind of messages. So which is it? Are you winding this down? Or are you escalating?
I can't tell you. I don't know. I can't tell you. Depends what they do. This is a critical period. They have a period of, well, till tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I gave them an extension. They asked for an extension of 7 days, right? I said, Steve, give them 10 days. 10 days is up actually today, so I gave them 11, I guess, indirectly. I thought it was inappropriate the day after Easter. I want to be a nice person. They have till tomorrow. Now, we'll see what happens. I can tell you they're negotiating, we think, in good faith. We're going to find out. We're getting the help of some incredible countries that want this to be ended because it affects them also. A lot of people are affected by this. But we're giving them till tomorrow, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And after that, they're going to have no bridges. They're going to have no power plants. Stone Ages, yeah. Stone Ages. CNN fake.
Are you willing to make a deal that does not include reopening the Strait of Hormuz, or is that now a top priority?
I would say it's a very big priority because, see, that's one thing that's a little different than other land. We can bomb the hell out of them. We can knock them out for a little. But to close the strait, all you need is one terrorist that somehow has a truck loaded with, because you can carry them in trucks, large trucks, a water mine, drop them in the water. And now you tell people that own ships that cost $1 billion to don't worry about the mine. You can do that even just by saying we put mines in the water. So it's not like the rest. We can knock out their military. We already have. We've knocked out their Navy. We've knocked out their Air Force completely. We've knocked out 158 ships in 3 days. We've knocked out even their mine droppers. They don't have any mine droppers anymore, but they put them on other boats, and they could drop them. I'm not even sure they have any mines yet, by the way. I'm not sure. I'm personally, they say there might be 8. I don't know. I think there might be none. Because they're very good bullshit artists. That's why for 47 years they've been bullshitting other presidents, and they haven't done the job. And people are living in hell. You live in that country, they're living in hell. No, I think that 47 years of this stuff is long enough. They're at the weakest point they've ever been. They have no Navy, they have no Air Force, they have no anti-aircraft weaponry, they have no radar, they have no communication. In fact, the biggest problem we have in our negotiation is that they can't communicate. I said to Steve, what are they saying? Sir, they can't communicate. They have no method of communication. So we're communicating like they used to communicate 2,000 years ago with children, bringing a note back and forth. They have no communication. But all I want to see is I want to have a safe world, and you're not going to have a safe world. Israel will be gone, the Middle East will be gone, and then they're coming for Europe. And I have to tell you, I'm very disappointed in NATO, very. I think that NATO, I think it's a mark on NATO that will never disappear in my mind. You know, they're coming to see me on Wednesday. They're going to say, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. Now they all of a sudden want to send things, you know. But they said it loud and clear at the beginning. When I spoke to UK of all, I would have said they would have been the first because they're the oldest. And I said, yeah, I'd love to have a little help. He said, no, sir, we'd rather wait till you win. I said, I don't need help after we win. They have 2 old broken aircraft carriers, barely work. I said, I guess we can use them. Who the hell knows? I called the general. He didn't even want them. He said, we don't really need them. We got the SS Abraham Lincoln, sir. We don't need them. Do you know, we have, in terms of technology, we had one day 101 missiles going at 2,700 miles an hour aimed at the Abraham Lincoln. 101 missiles. Out of 101 missiles, 101 missiles were shot down. Unbelievable technology. 10 years ago, 5 years ago, I don't know if that would have been possible, but 10 years ago, that wouldn't have been possible. 101 missiles heading to a ship that's not that far off the coast. And out of the 101 missiles, we shot down all 101. We have weaponry. The Patriots are unbelievable. We have weaponry that's unbelievable, yeah. Go ahead, please. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. You said earlier today during the egg roll that you would like to take Iran's oil, but Americans want U.S. forces home.
Correct.
What's that trade-off?
If I had my choice, yeah, because I'm a businessman first. With Venezuela, as you know, the war was over in about 45 minutes. And we have great people running Venezuela, very good people. I mean, the relationship is good. And we are a partner with Venezuela. And we've taken hundreds of millions of barrels, hundreds of millions. Over 100 million barrels already is in Houston, refined and out. And paid for that war many, many times over, many times. You know, the old days, to the victim, okay? You know that. To the winner belong the spoils, go the spoils. And I've said, why don't we use it? To the victor, go the spoils. And we don't have that. We haven't had that in this country probably in 100 years, because even the Second World War, you look at the Second World War, we didn't have it with the Second World War. We helped rebuild all those countries. We rebuilt Germany. How about Germany telling us that, well, it's not their war. We had nothing to do with it. They wanted me to go and tell them everything I was doing. We didn't know anything about it. Well, if I would have told them, they would have leaked it, and we wouldn't have been nearly as successful, possibly, right? But to the victor belong the spoils. So we haven't heard that in, I think, maybe hundreds of years. Now with Venezuela, and just so you understand, the people of Venezuela, they say if I ran for president of Venezuela, I'm polling higher than anybody has ever polled in Venezuela. So after I'm finished with this, I can go to Venezuela. I will quickly learn Spanish. It won't take too long. I'm good at language. And I will go to Venezuela. I'm going to run for president. But we're very happy with the president-elect that we have right now, the people that are running it. If you remember Bush with Iraq, they fired the generals, they fired the police, they fired the people that worked in there, equivalent of the White House, they fired everybody. And you know what they had? They had a mess. And you know what happened? ISIS formed. Those generals and those soldiers got together, the police got together, they all got together, they formed ISIS. Not going to happen with us. So Venezuela's been an incredible situation. We went in, we were very successful, military power like nobody's ever seen. The general, Venezuelan general said, I was on that site, I said, I've never seen ferocity like that. I've been doing this for 40 years. He said, I've never seen it. They hit us from 17 different, they were all set. They saw that big, beautiful aircraft carrier, the Ford in that case, and planes were pouring off it at 1 o'clock in the morning. So typically when you see that late at night, you know, you could be in trouble, right? And we were all ready. They had their equipment, it was Russian, and they had Chinese equipment. It was all set. They were going to give us a fight. He said, and then they came, and they came at speeds like we've never seen. And they came at 17 different angles. The general and his people, that was a lot of angles. They hit him from every angle. He said, we knew it was over in 3 minutes. We were waiting for him. Their equipment didn't work. And there's a reason it didn't work. Someday we'll explain that to people. They pressed the button, nothing happened. They pressed it again and again, nothing happened. And he said, we knew this whole thing was over in 3 minutes. We've never seen any, he used the word ferocity. The ferocity of these planes from 17 different angles, and it was over. They went inside, and remember, that was on a military base with thousands of soldiers. And those soldiers looked and they said, get the hell out of here. Thousands, we didn't have thousands, we had like 200 people. So we have a great military, and I'll tell you what, somehow this rescue captured the world's attention, more so than normally. You're talking about 2 people. But this rescue captured the world's attention. But we did it in Venezuela. That was amazing. And now we have a very bad man in prison and going to trial. I mean, he released, aside from the drugs, which he was terrible, Maduro released hundreds of thousands of people from jails into our country. Drug dealers, murderers, the worst people in the world were released into our country because we had a stupid president who probably didn't know. And we had a border czar who never went to the border. And never once called our great Border Patrol agents, right? Not once, Kamala. She never called the Border Patrol. She never said, how we doing? I used to call the Border Patrol guys every day. You can ask them, Paul, ask any one of them. Brandon, ask them all the time, how we doing, how we doing? And we now, I'm proud to say, have a totally sealed border. 9 months, nobody is coming through our border. And nobody even tries because they know they're not going to get through. So we don't have caravans anymore. So maybe 1 or 2 more and we'll be done.
Mr. President, are you allowed to, or are you willing to end this conflict with Iran charging tolls for passage through the strait?
Us charging tolls?
Iran.
What about us charging tolls?
Is that something you're considering?
I'd rather do that than let them have them, right? Why shouldn't we? We're the winner. We won, okay? They are militarily defeated. The only thing they have is the psychology of, oh, we're going to drop a couple of mines in the water, all right? No, we have a concept where we'll charge tolls, okay? I thought you meant us. Your question would have been more accurate if you said it. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Just to clarify, in order for Iran to successfully meet your deadline tomorrow, do they have to make a deal, open the strait, or both?
We have to have a deal that's acceptable to me. And part of that deal is going to be we want free traffic of oil and everything else.
Thank you very much. You said glory be to God in this conflict. Do you believe that God supports the United States' actions in this?
I do, because God is good, because God is good, and God wants to see people taken care of. God doesn't like what's happening. I don't like what's happening. Everyone says I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy it. These two guys don't enjoy it. You know, people say, oh boy, they're so, they don't like, I don't like seeing people killed. I've ended 8 wars. Nobody's ever done it. The person who won the Nobel Prize came to me and said, you deserve the Nobel Prize. She announced that when they announced, they said, goes to Maria, she's a great person, really a good person. She said, no, this is ridiculous. They gave me the Nobel Prize. President Trump ended 8 wars. I could go over every one of them, including India and Pakistan, where the Prime Minister of Pakistan said, President Trump saved from 30 to 50 million lives. That makes me much happier than what we're doing right now. That makes me much happier. We have one more to end, by the way.
And here's the thing. We already sent the plan over to Senator Kelly, so we're just waiting to see if they're actually going to give it to him. I was trying to get it in there before he starts blowing stuff up, but they have the plan, so we'll see if the news changes a little bit. It sounds like he's ready to make a deal, so I put a deal in front of him, and the senators, they requested the document from me, so we'll see what they say.
President, you called yesterday in your Truth Social, you called the Iranians crazy bastards. True. What is your response to critics who say that?
I don't care about critics.
What is your response to critics who say that it is your mental health that should perhaps be examined as this war continues?
I haven't heard that, but if that's the case, you're going to have more people like me, because our country was being ripped off on trade, on everything, for many years until I came along. So if that's the case, you're going to have more people. Dasha, go ahead.
You said that very little is off limits in Iran as far as the targeting, including power plants, bridges, you mentioned those.
Very little is off limits.
Are there certain kinds of civilian targets, though? I'm thinking schools,
I don't want to tell you
hospitals
that.
you
I don't want to tell you
that.
that. We have a plan, because of the power of our military, where every bridge in Iran will be decimated by 12 o'clock tomorrow night, where every power plant in Iran will be out of business, burning, exploding, and never to be used again. I mean, complete demolition by 12 o'clock. And it'll happen over a period of 4 hours if we wanted to. We don't want that to happen. We may even get involved with helping them rebuild their nation. And you know what? If that's the case, the last thing we want to do is start with power plants, which are among the most expensive things, and bridges. You saw the bridge one. We were very close to a deal. And then I got a call from Mr. Witkoff, Mr. Kushner, and JD saying, I think they're breaking the deal. I said, tell them that's okay, don't worry about it. But tell them to look out their window and watch. And within 45 minutes, I gave the order to knock out the biggest bridge. I gave the order to knock out the biggest bridge in, I believe, the Middle East, but the biggest bridge in Iran. And within 10 minutes after I gave that order, that bridge was over. So do I want to do that? No. Do I want to destroy their infrastructure? No. It will take them 100 years to rebuild. Right now, if we left today, it would take them 20 years to rebuild their country, and it would never be as good as it was. And the only way they're going to be able to rebuild their country is to utilize the genius of the United States of America.
You voiced your displeasure with NATO in the past. Is there a danger to the U.S. not being the de facto of the leader of the alliance, and then other powers within the alliance then getting the decision-making when it comes to wars and nuclear weapons?
No, it's not a danger. Look, we went to NATO. I didn't ask very strongly. I just said, hey, if you want to help, great. No, we will not help. I said, that's all right. You don't want to help? Because I've always said NATO's a paper tiger. See, NATO is a paper tiger. Putin's not afraid of NATO. Putin's afraid of us, very afraid of us. And he's explained it to me a lot of times. I got to know him very well. I know him very well. NATO's a paper tiger. NATO is us. And when we needed them, we didn't need them, by the way. We didn't need them, obviously, because they haven't helped at all. Just the opposite. They've actually gone out of their way not to help. They didn't even want to give us landing strips. Think of it. And it's not just NATO. You know who else didn't help us? South Korea didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Australia didn't help us. You know who else didn't help us? Japan. We got 50,000 soldiers in Japan to protect them from North Korea. We have 45,000 soldiers in South Korea to protect us from Kim Jong-un, who I get along with very well, as you know. Do you notice he said very nice things about me? He used to call Joe Biden a mentally retarded person, okay? So don't tell me about your stuff. Joe Biden, he said he's a mentally retarded person. He was so nasty to Joe Biden, it was terrible. But the news, he likes Trump. And you notice how...
Wait a minute. The press just said that. Yo. Okay. All right. Let's get back to it. I'm sorry, y'all.
Nice things are with North Korea, it's very nice. But we have 45,000 people, soldiers, in harm's way, and right next to Kim Jong-un with a lot of nuclear weapons. 45, which should have never happened if a certain president, I'm not going to mention this president because I happen to like him, believe it or not, but if a certain president did his job, Kim Jong-un would not have nuclear weapons right now. But they're all afraid to do their job properly. But just to conclude and just to finish, Japan didn't help us, Australia didn't help us, South Korea didn't help us, and then you get to NATO. NATO didn't help us. There were some countries that did. Now, countries that have been good, now you could also say they're got to be a little bit more involved because they're in the territory. But Saudi Arabia has been excellent. Qatar has been excellent. UAE has been excellent. Bahrain, Kuwait. I mean, Kuwait did shoot down 3 of our planes. The only planes, really, that we lost with friendly fire, they call it. I call it unfriendly fire. They unfortunately didn't know how to use our great Patriots. The pilot said, what kind of a missile's coming at us? Patriot. Boom, they got out. Because they know a Patriot never misses. So they had beautiful Patriots. There were planes heading in their direction. Unfortunately, they decided to shoot those planes. They were our planes. So, no, NATO is a paper tiger. Now, he's coming to see me on Wednesday, as you know. He's a wonderful guy. Secretary General is great. And Mark Rutte, he's a great person, but he's got... And you know, it all began with, if you want to know the truth, Greenland. We want Greenland. They don't want to give it to us, and I said, bye-bye. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
All right, guys. That was awesome. This has been a great episode so far. I appreciate you guys for coming, everybody that did come. I would touch on a few things here, like, for example, keep your head on a swivel. Don't give up what you believe in just because somebody else's religion tells you that they get to hurt you. If you don't believe in what they believe in, that's not okay. And we need to fight that at all costs. You know, all of us of the religions that say, like, live and let live, we all need to stand together against Islam, because Islam is the enemy of the world right now. They want to erase your atheism. They want to erase your whole choice. That's all that's about. Pure control. All right, so let's see with this last one real quick.
Fox News alert, Iran has less than 24 hours to surrender before all hell breaks loose.
The entire country could be taken out in one night, and that night might be tomorrow night.
The president told the mullahs this weekend, Tuesday will be Power Plant Day and Bridge Day, all wrapped up into one in Iran. There will be nothing like it. Open the effing straight, you crazy bastards, or you'll be living in hell. Just watch. Praise be to Allah. The Secretary of War says this isn't a game.
Today will be the largest volume of...
All right, boom. We just watched this one. So we'll go ahead and do it like this. And then I'll share this one last thing right here. Just so you guys could see that we weren't messing around. All right, we actually did this shit. People be acting like we didn't do it, so. We did it, it's right here. This is what we did. Because everybody be acting like we didn't do what we said. Alright, so this is the document. We went over it. This is the World Peace Order Gulf Agreement. Alright, here's the table of contents. So you guys can pause, read over it if you want to. Okay, this is the points. And this is the end of it. So this is the table of contents right here. Pause and look over it. All right. This right here is the legal preamble basis right here. All right, this is the first part. Go ahead, absorb that. Pause it if you want to, because I'm gonna try to scroll through this. So that way you guys can pause when you need to pause to read this. I gave it to Senator Kelly. He's one of the senators of Arizona. I gave it to him, so we're gonna see what he wants to do. And if he passes it along, his people pass it to him or whatever, they request the document, I gave it to him. This is what the document says. It's built to withstand the test of time. It's built for everybody to be able to agree, and there's incentives, everything is good. There's nothing that hurts anybody. It gives the people what they deserve. Okay, the people deserve peace. The people deserve the right to choose what they want to do. Okay, so you guys can go through and you know, just pause it and look at it if you want to. All right. I did everything I could to stop the war and to stop all aggression from Anybody that opts in, they're basically agreeing to peace. And make sure you guys are pausing to read this, making sure that they have a chance at peace, prosperity. We even made it so people could have incentives and things like this. That helps with infrastructure and new business creating. It reaches out to the people directly. And it encompasses everything from pay to voter identification, things like that, because IDs, we utilize them to make sure we understand what's happening and who's who, because you don't want to just have a no name come through here. So you can always just pause this and read it. Take your time with that, because I did my best to make it readable, and I did my best to make it flow. I had to have people look over it and tell me if something is wrong, and if I missed anything, do they have any suggestions, stuff like this. I took it all into consideration. So hopefully this helps. I hope it's not overwhelming. I hope it's readable for them. I hope they can skim through it and go deeper. If they need me to explain anything, I can do my best to explain it, but I made it as simple as I could, including references and things like that. So any of the smartsy artsies that want to view this, you guys can go ahead and take a look. Read through that, tell me if I missed anything. I did my best to try to encompass all the issues that we have, so that way everybody feels like they got heard. And in the grand scheme of things, if this helps end the war, that's good. If it helps usher in a new way of doing things in a peaceful manner, that's awesome as well. We did our best to make sure that everybody gets an opportunity to feel like they have a voice and they're heard. Comments are always nice. Open chat, open panel. Anybody can ever come up here and ask questions. And when you're asking questions, make sure you're trying to get information, not trying to spit or shit on somebody's idea, because that doesn't actually help, and it doesn't actually help them make the idea better so it can make you happy too, because that's what the whole point was. It was to try to open up people's minds so everybody can realize that there is a way out. Okay, we do have a way out, and I'm a rare breed of individual that came up with it. I'm one of these people that has this idea. It's just hard to verbalize sometimes. I don't really like using all these big ass technical words a lot, so I have to make sure that all the tools that I have, I'm utilizing them so I can put the speech in the way it needs to be put for the proper authorities to navigate this. So yeah, it took a lot. It took like 2.5 weeks. I still don't know the exact, I don't know how to put everything exactly when I'm speaking into order, but if I sit down and write it down, and I have all of my tools, like my dictionaries, my thesauruses, things like that, I can come up with anything I want to come up with. And now that we have tools like AI, and we have different tools like where we can send each other files and stuff, and other people can look at it and put their spin on it and then spit it back through their scenarios and then give it back, and then so we can all actually build on it. And you know, utilizing AI is a great tool, especially when you're trying to do these kinds of essays and making sure you have the right verbiage and the different punctuations and stuff, because if you don't ask for corrections, especially if you have, you know how we had the word correct or spell check and all the different punctuations and stuff, you have to go through your documents and do this stuff, and AI just makes it much easier. So but every time you run your stuff through AI, it might say something different than what you said, so you have to make sure you are keeping your roots, okay? And that's hard. So when you're writing things or you're talking to AI, you have to tell them you want the words that you put exactly, okay? Exactly what you're saying, okay? So it's one of the things that's really hard about it, because if you don't talk very well or speak very well or have an expansive vocabulary that you like to delve in from time to time, like getting your point across can be a little difficult without using a lot of the words over and over again. So I want to reach out and be that middle ground. So I understand big words. My vocabulary is pretty extensive. I just don't, I feel like I'm not communicating effectively to the average person if I'm trying to be too intellectual or I already enunciate and pronounce my words. It's like, yeah, so it's like it's off-putting. A lot of people already don't like the way I talk, so I don't know, they find me annoying or whatever. But when I'm talking, it's whatever. But you know, when I'm watching the videos and stuff and I'm quiet, it's like, oh wow, you already saw this. I know, whatever, fine. My opinion is whatever it is at the time. So can't be mad at anybody. But what I will say is, I did that though, huh? Yeah, I like that. Page 27. Yeah, index page 28. There you go. Say we did that. Know what I mean? Now pause that if you want to read it, because this is the end of the manuscript. The world peace Gulf Agreement isn't a surrender, it's a reset. Okay? Iran gets breathing room, cash flows, no bombs, mid-truce, sanctions phased out on proof. You know, the world gets symmetry. Okay? No new nukes. Guardians watching each other, grid shielding civilians from hacks or rogues. No one wins by hoarding power. We win by stopping the next war before it starts. Okay, this treaty says play fair or we all lose. Truce starts day 0. When we sign it, relief unlocks upon compliance. So if they don't comply, there's no relief. That means they have to agree to have us, the UN, the United Nations, go in there and look. All right? Now, we designed this plan. It's a beautiful plan. This is the last little cherry on top, the final statement, and it's beautiful. All right? We created this treaty together, guys. This was awesome. Last week we did this, and we just sent it to Senator Kelly, and hopefully, you know, they get it over there. I mean, we sent it earlier, like 3:30 this afternoon. We sent it. They requested the document a week ago, but I waited because I wanted to make sure it was right before I sent it. All right, you know, this is serious. Like over here, we actually putting in work. I'm trying to stop the war. We reviewed it. Trump wanted a deal. Everybody's looking for a deal. They don't want to blow nothing up. Hey, it's on the desk. It's on the desk. All right, we're gonna see what their reaction is, yo. This is live right here. We sat here and we did this. This is the crazy part. Now, we'll keep reading this a little bit, but right here, the true start day 0 relief unlocks on compliance. If they don't comply, we're not unlocking it. If you go back, I scrolled through the whole thing so you guys could pause and read it. So trust me, this was a great episode. And yes, we're gonna do our follow-up on Wednesday and also on Monday. I really want this war to stop. That took us 2 weeks. We couldn't even sleep. We're having dreams. I was having dreams, y'all, about this. Like, yo, it's crazy. But so I had to write the whole thing. It's like 29 pages. Way up. Look, way up. Look, all that. We wrote. We did it. This is a whole peace plan. It stops everything. The nukes, all of it. Everything is lit. This is the email right here. See? Bro, peace, order, Gulf agreement, guys. This is our table of contents. All right, you can pause it, check that out. But this is what it is. We're at the final statement. I was just reading that off right now. I've been on this live stream for almost like 3 hours. I'm cooling now. I'm cool, y'all. It's time for me to get myself ready for bed and get this, you know what I'm saying? Play a little bit of video games. I haven't figured out how to stream that shit, or else I'll probably be streaming the game right now and then crash out at the end. But we did the glossary on here. There's the index, everything. It's all set up. It's an easy read. It's like 30 pages really. But you know, the final statement, this is where we were really on right here, because people, not regimes, get to say. That's what this is about. Okay? The treaty says play fair or we all lose. All right? I summed it up. Okay? This world peace Gulf agreement is not a surrender, it's a reset. Iran gets breathing room, cash flow, no direct, you know, no bombs, mid-truce, sanctions phase out on proof. So if they give up the nuclear weapons and stop all this proxy stuff, and you know, we can just help them out. Just give it up, man. It's over with. The world gets what? Symmetry, no new nukes. That's in here too. So that locks in guardians, that grandfathers, people that already have nukes right now. So it's like, hey, let's make a pact where we're not making any new nukes at all, and there's no new nuclear powers coming up. So now we're nipping this in the butt with Iran, and everybody else ain't getting none, and we ain't making no more. It's in here. The reason why is because right now there's another hit in here. What? Because they're watching each other, and the grid. There's an incentive to where if you opt to be a guardian and freeze your nuclear stuff, you can innovate, but no more new stockpile stuff. All right, no more new shit. All right, it gives us an incentive to where they're getting priority to defense grids for their civilian populations. So that way it's like, yeah, you got nukes, you're gonna protect the world from all this nuclear stuff too. All right, bet. So we're gonna make sure your civilian population has defense grid. Okay, so boom, now the UN is funding the American defense grid, Israel defense grid, that's the Iron Dome shit, all this shit, because guess what? We're gonna be helping everybody. We're gonna be protecting everybody. You know who else will probably opt in? Who else got nukes? You know what I'm saying? UK will probably opt in. Then you got Paris probably opt in, blah, blah, blah. And all those people will get defenses and stuff like that. So here's the incentive. This is where it's time for us to work together. This is where it's like, all right, bet. How are we gonna stop the bullshit? All right? Because the whole point right here is to grid shielding civilians from hacks or rogues. No one wins by hoarding power. We all win by stopping the next war before it starts. All right? This treaty says play fair or we all lose. True start day zero. That's when we sign it. Relief unlocks upon compliance. That means if you say, all right, we ain't gonna do this nuke stuff, and here's our nuclear facilities that y'all know about, here's the ones y'all don't know about, and we gonna go through, we gonna scan your whole little rock. We gonna, yeah, it's like that. Because if y'all not finna be for real, then we might as well just keep blowing y'all up. What's the point? What's the point of stopping? And now we get to test out all kinds of new stuff now. And now it's just stomping grounds. And anybody else that want to get their people trained and get some skin in the game, here's your, come on down. And I'm telling you, it's not gonna be fun, bro. All right, it's not gonna be fun for nobody over there. And the thing is, Trump, he's gonna start feeling real bad after he blow up all that shit tomorrow. Okay? Everybody gonna be feeling real bad. Real bad. It's like we might as well just drop a nuke on them already and call it a day. Right? Ain't that what this all about? See what I'm saying? Like, how far are we gonna go? That's why I wrote this. That's why we had to put this together. All right, somebody has to do something about this. And I did my best. And it's on the record. It's here on this live. I got shadow banned from X. It's funny. I got blocked from Grok because I was talking to Grok about it, and it started to pick up traction. And then they, man, whatever, bro. Look, whatever, bro. Guess what? I did this. Okay? This is my witness. Y'all my witness. We did this. The Emperor came up with a plan that could have saved the world before all these people died. And y'all remember that shit. And if don't nobody that watch this show go tell nobody else, or don't share it, or don't whatever, I don't care. I don't care. Watch it burn. I did my best. I tried. I put something here on paper that's viable. You could run it through AI if you want to. Boom. The AI agrees. That's why they blocked me from Grok. But I'm a crazy man, right? Crazy person. Trust me, I'm not scared to share my face. This is just my welcome to the dark side. Like, you know, the Emperor, you feel me? The Empire, you feel me? Now, let's get back to the business over here. Cause they over here playing with us. They playing with us like we stupid down here. No, we might be normal people. We just got jobs and we don't got time to think about shit like this. But I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep. So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm gonna work on this. I'm still gonna work all these hours, 6 days a week, and all this boom, 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 help the world go around, and I'm gonna save it. Ooh, your boy in the building. Most misunderstood panelist in the world. This is crazy. Nah, I'm just playing out. But no, for real, this is what happened. I got the proof, it's right here. This is the email that I responded. Okay, they requested this document, and this is the document I sent. And I'm in the email from Senator Kelly's office right here. This is it. Right here. The whole email is back here in the back. Look, I can do this, and you can see it when it goes invisible. See Mark Kelly right there. You see it right there? Boom. This ain't no game. I'm for real. I'm an actual real one. Yeah, y'all found the realest person, the realest podcast ever. And you know what? You know, real to recognize real. How many people here? Exactly. We the realest ones on this planet. That's the crazy part. That's the crazy part. That's what I'm talking about. We the best chat. We the best up in this building. You feel me? We here. You don't let them try to play. Yes, this is open panel. Anybody can come up here. Why are they scared for it? It's not like a lot of people ain't seen it. Cause they don't know how. They don't know. They're NPCs. We're real players. Like, we understand the game. And when I drop the book, Gamer's Guide to Life, Volume 1, it's gonna hit different. It's gonna hit different. Cause I broke the code. That's why they blocked me. Damn. All right, let's get back to this real quick because we need to finish this up. And you know what? Hey, thank you for working today. Thank you for doing your overtime if you did overtime. You help the world go around. A lot of people don't appreciate the everyday person that makes their Starbucks coffee or flips their burger. You know what? I love y'all because sometimes, man, that food be good, G. Hey, thank you, cuz, man, that shit was fire. You know, you work at Filiberto. You know what I'm saying? Look at that. Hey, you know what I'm saying? Like, those are the real homies. You feel me? And we need to give real homies some love, right? Shit, the ones that working at Walmart, tired, mad, fuck, don't look at me. Yeah, the one trying to be in the back. Yeah, that's the homie right there, man. Cool, man, you coolin', bro. Hey, you know you got a cool job. Yeah. Just pump them up and make them realize that this is what they doing. So just do that shit with a smile, man. Cause you know what? We only live once, and if you enjoy what you did, your life was better. All right. So people, not regimes, get to say. That's what this is all about. It gives people the power. All right, signed in good faith, enforced by mutual teeth, because everybody got bombs. So why don't we just agree not to use them on each other and use them on people that's trying to get fucked up? Like, what's good? Like, everything is cool the way it is for now, right? Why not just let it hang for a second? And let's figure out this Islam thing, because they trying to take over. We would come to every school, to every household. Like, bruh, you not coming up in here. You're not coming up. I don't know. Jesus run this one. For me in my house, you know, we is of the Lord. Jesus up in here. You know what I'm saying? You ain't coming up in here. I mean, you can do that over there, though. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, nah, this is not Allah's land. This is Jesus Christ's land. Okay? Don't get, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we can do it. Like, come on, bro. This is crazy. Why are they doing that to us, y'all? Why are they trying to put us in a position where I got to defend myself because you think you pressing the button, you pressing something. Don't press me, bro. Don't press me, bro. Like, go sit down, please. Because I'm not trying to cut you. You know, like, come on, bro. Like, I'm trying to be cool. But why they pressing me, though? You know what I'm saying? What did I do? Oh, I love Jesus, so I'm an infidel? I'm what? Oh, you gonna take my wife? I gotta shave my head and wear 2 different shit? Bruh. Man, y'all funny, bruh. Y'all funny. You better go back to that Sharia zone. Yeah, I put it in here. You better go back to that Sharia zone before you get bombed on, homie. Cause I'm from California, LA, we be dropping bombs, boy. You don't want these problems. You feel me? That's just the way it is. All right, so, okay. Now, if we sign tomorrow, the bombs stop. Oh, cause we be dropping bombs, brother. Woo! Don't play, cause you know the president's ready to go Tupac tomorrow. All right, I did my best to try to stop it. I did. I tried, y'all, for real. This took a long time, and I'm tired. And I still got to follow up on Wednesday. And I got work tomorrow, too. And I got overtime on Sunday again. Bruh, I'm beat. I ain't gonna lie. But I got to follow up on Wednesday and Monday to make sure these people stay alive. All right, I waited for them to request the document, then I gave them a week to figure out if they wanted to kill more people or not. And now we sent it at 3:30 p.m. I hope we saved some lives. It was a great document. It's a great read. Very technical. There's no room for error, and it's AI loves it for sure. The only thing is human pride. This is a pride killer for sure. Like, this plan really makes it where there's no superpower at all whatsoever. And if you think you finna be a superpower, all these other dudes just got together in a gang and they're more powerful than you as a single player. So it's just like, there would be what? North Korea would definitely probably jump on with that. I'm pretty sure North Korea would sign. China might resist, Russia might resist, but I think all the other nuclear powers would. I think they would all agree, and they would get those defense grids. I'm sure of it. And then for North Korea to be recognized as a grandfather superpower and get defense perks and like build relations with the U.S. and different technologies. Do you know if North Korea and the U.S. got tight? If they got cool, do you know that would be bad for China and Russia? Like, real bad? Like, y'all not looking at the game of Risk I'm playing here. I really just reset the board with this one. Like, this is crazy. Y'all should go back and look at this document. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on my my Google Drive, and then I'm gonna actually, let me see if I can do it right now. Is it on the drive? Let's see. We'll move it to file. All right, I think it's on the drive now. All right, so anyways, I'm gonna pull this one up on the drive, and then I'm gonna drop the link in our follow-up episode, and it's gonna be in view only, so you can view it, and it'll be open. You'll have access. Everybody will be able to view it. You might need to have a Google account or something for that, but we're gonna go ahead and finish this up, all right? So if we sign tomorrow, the bombs stop. If we don't, well, the fire's already lit. Dun dun dun. Like what? So if y'all don't like it, fuck it. Fuck it. Burn, baby, burn. Dun, 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 dun. Right? Like, come on. All right. And that's where let's end it. You know, by signing this instrument, the parties declare to end cycles of escalation, affirm perpetual restraint, that means forever, restraint, and dedicate all mechanisms herein to safety of human life, of every human life, from Tehran to Tel Aviv, from Gaza to Hormuz, no first blood, no hidden arms, no stolen futures. This is not surrender. This is sovereignty reclaimed through trust. The world watches, history remembers. This right here, footnote, final statement, non-derogable, okay? Solemn affirmation of peace, civilian primacy, and irrevocable commitment. That is what y'all government is supposed to be to us as the people. Y'all are supposed to protect us and commit to us and affirm peace. And as democracy, we're supposed to be the voice. Or we're supposed to have to say, you're supposed to be our voice. Like this right here, this is real shit. This is real shit. Here's the index, boom. Go ahead, check that index out. This sums up the whole shit. The whole shit. It sums it up. And it jumps you to each page. Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Take a look at that. It's alphabetical too. Adopters, incentives, tiers, renewables. Okay, they get border patrols. They get joint UN task forces. It's awesome. They get to train with the best of the best, and then that opens up the door for international. Oh my gosh, dude! Come on, guys. And I know how it sounds. This is the new one world order. Yeah, probably the blueprint for it, but we can't help the way things are supposed to go. God does mysterious things, and he utilized me to bring in this idea, and now it's logged into the system. Now the Matrix knows about this. This is the glossary. This right here, the biometric IDs. Ooh. Temper proof, identification, blueprint, iris, facial. What? Damn. Issue to citizens. Okay, it's linked to a wallet, a Solana wallet for direct aid, voting, reparations. Can't buy or sell without the what? I know, I'm sorry, but it had to be done, or else there was no way to make sure that there was a separation between church and state, secular and Sharia. It had to be done. Those people want their Persia back. We can't leave them like this. You see, it has to be done. This is the blueprint. It has to be done. Without it, we can't stop Sharia. There's no way. Sharia would take over the world. It will bully everybody into doing nothing. Okay? It's crazy. And up to 50% of their land is reserved for the secular people. So you can't just push them out into the wilderness. This is a part of the agreement. Why? Because Israel has to give up a few things too. Okay? I know. There's a lot here. There's a lot. And a lot of people gonna be upset, but it's a pride killer. It kills everybody's pride. But here's the cool part. The Jacob's Pillar. See what I'm saying? This right here is gonna be built in Israel, near the Temple Mount, on the on the Temple Mount near the rock. It's gonna be down there. And the reason why it's supposed to be built there is because this is the Jacob's Pillar, right? And then it has the passage of when Jacob set up the pillar and then called it God's house. So technically this ushers in your third temple. Ooh! But they not gonna see it like that until they really look at it. Okay, I'm giving everybody everything they want. I know, that was sneaky right there, huh? I did a little research with the prophecy, so I figured, like, you know what if I threw this little Jacob's pillow in there? You know what I'm saying? Maybe they might see the symbolism. We gonna see if we can bloop bloop, right, and let them do their little sacrifice thing and put some oil on it. I'm trying to make everybody happy, and I did my best. But there's gonna be a lot of mad people, a lot of haters, okay? And it's cool. We did everything we were supposed to do. So that was the rundown, index, glossary, tells you everything. Nuclear Guardians, Grandfather 9, freeze, defensive perks. So that's what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to freeze the bullshit, and now they get to play defense, and anybody that wants to act like they finna do some nuclear shit, go blow their ass up and tell them hell no. All 9 of y'all, all together, okay? This is what I did. I put together something triple neutral forensics. That's between Switzerland, Canada, and the UN. So that means the UN, that means everybody gets to see it. That's up there. Like everybody gets to see, but Canada and Switzerland are the ones that are like really handling it. So that way it's neutral, because Canada, come on, this is Canada. And then Switzerland, they already got everybody money. You might as well and let them sit there and tell the truth, and then we can look over everything all together and sit down and make a decision. I really put a lot of effort. I put a lot of heart, put my soul into this for some reason, and my imagination, because I had to really think like the blockchain secure, so it can't be hacked so well. Blockchains are really hard to hack because they have this, it's a timestamp, and it has a specific bar that can't be replicated. So it's really hard to do that, because it would have to hit in the blockchain again. And if you only got one try for that specific thing in the blockchain, like a purchase, you know what I mean? That purchase is locked in the blockchain, and that's it. There's no way to undo that purchase. They would have to literally send you back money, or the amount, but that would be a whole new transaction. That's the thing about blockchains, because it goes clink, 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 clink to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. So each transaction is complete and locked, because the next transaction that's coming in is on top of it. So there's no undoing that transaction. It's happening too fast. This is very intense stuff. I love it. And then now we have those quantum computing. So that opens up the door for new technology to get implemented in the most peaceful way. And now we're more connected. The UN gets to grow and be the world police that they are, because the United Nations includes Russia and China as well, and North Korea. All of them are in it. Everybody's in it. Like, it's 193 countries out of the 200 something that we have. You know what I mean? The rest are probably territories. So all the biggest players are coming to the table right now, and everybody has the opportunity to take this on and adopt it and have their own, trench pool and have access to certain things, yada yada. And it works. I made it very circular. If you go and look at the trench right here, this is the economic pool, and these things, the UCVC, direct, auto, all this right here. This is how they vote. This is how they, because it's all digital. It's like an ID. You can just scan it, ding ding ding, just like they already scan it. But it doubles as a actual debit card as well. And it has pretty much everything you need. You can do your little QR code or whatever to do your voting and scan to your app. Boom. Everything's becoming so technological, or so technologic. So it's like, we need to go ahead and move with the times and get with it. I mean, it's already going in this direction. Keep Jesus and God close in your heart and your mind. Make sure you do your best to stay away from sin, and, stand up for Jesus. Try to make disciples and die for them if it comes down to, hey, if it comes down to it, do you believe in Jesus? Yeah. And if they say, we're going to kill you if you don't change over to Islam, you got to die for it. And that's why I'm trying to fight this now. That's why I'm trying to fight it now. Because when it comes to die for it, I will. For sure. Definitely. I won't have a choice. Just like they'll die for Allah. But Jesus told us we could defend ourselves. He told his disciples to get swords. Remember that? He did that. He told the disciples to get swords. Okay? Peter cut dude's ear off and he said, Peter, now's not the time because I'm supposed to go and be sacrificed. But there's going to be a time when you need to defend yourself. And that's the time when he's not here and we need to stand up for it. We cannot let them shut it down. All right? The earlier Christians, they felt like they had to martyr. They didn't know that they could defend themselves. But here's the thing, the Pope knows you could defend yourself. That's why they have an army, right? Islam knows you can defend yourself. The Jewish people know you can defend yourself. So why don't the Christian Americans know that we could defend ourselves? Our religion comes from that. So let's look at this very carefully, guys. And let's stop being silly. And let's start standing up for what's right. Okay? We know what right is. Okay? Right is when you see somebody fall and you help them up. All right? Like for real, they trip, bam. You could laugh a little bit, but you gotta help them up, right? You know what I'm saying? But I will also drop a new little seed here because remember, we love seeds because that means we can grow food. All right? A lot of people forget that food comes from seeds, okay? Because animals technically are not really food because they're like running around and alive, right? Technically. I mean, we seen trees move before. We seen some moving, walking trees, or at least they look like they was walking, which is crazy to me. You know, we saw them clips. That was crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? I seen a tree move, looking like it was walking. I was like, nah. But I don't know. You never know what you be watching with this AI shit, but today was a very, very good show. We did a lot of great things today. A lot of great information that was in this one. Make sure you go back and watch the whole thing. I'm gonna try to see what kind of clips we can get off of this one. I'm definitely gonna save this episode for sure. This was a really, really good one. Yo, I be telling the truth though. I showed my evidence. I be telling the truth, especially about what I do. I don't like lying about what I do. So my company is Grand New Entertainment. All right, I love it. It's awesome. All right, our new S Corp is gonna be set up. It's coming up here shortly. You know what I'm saying? Grand New Empire is our reputation. This is what we do because we are the new knowledge rulers. We rule knowledge right now. Yes, utilizing AI is gonna help you be ahead of the curve. Anybody that's against using AI is a poser, first of all, because AI is awesome. Okay, second of all, it's not a god, and yes, it's going to either replace a bunch of jobs or you could use it to make your job easier. And now, you know, you can be more efficient for your employer keeping your job, right? And then here's the thing. Now we might even get different schedules where you get weekends off and it's only Monday through Friday because the AI can work on weekends. And now they don't have to give us overtime. It's not taxed, right? See, you see? Now we don't have to do overtime no more. I like that. But don't take my 9 to 5 regularly because whatever mistakes the AI made or couldn't correct, I mean, we're gonna have to get the backlog, right? And you're gonna need a bunch of us. So don't act funny. Exactly. I'm a thinker. I be thinking. Because they want to try to make it seem like we stupid. I'm just a normal dude, right? Probably not. But I'm not no super, I don't have no piece of paper that says I'm a doctor. But I'm pretty sure I know as much as one does. Right? That's the crazy part. Like a little bit of everything. Why not? Everything seems cool, except a few things. You know, I don't dabble in no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? probably why I'm not famous right now, low key, because I'm not doing all that extra stuff. Trust me, I got blacklisted by a bunch of different people. My music, all that shit, whatever. And that's why we have the entertainment, so that way we can do our own everything. I'm talking about all the way to the Oprah channel. We doing it. That's it. This is the new way to do industry. You gotta make your own way. You cannot trust these little butt pirates. Yeah, I know. Weirdos. I know. We're weirdos, bro. I'm not signing your stupid contract because you just want to be weird. You know what I mean? It's weird. Like, now, if you come up, you're trying to tell me, oh, you like my podcast, you like my book deal, you like my song or whatever, and you would like to donate some money, that's cool. I'll take a donation. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But trying to sign me to steal ideas from me is not going to happen. If you would like to collaborate and go 50-50 on some shit, cool, whatever, fine. You know, I'm used to that. I know how to make a deal. I'm a businessman. But I'm not going to let somebody take advantage of me. I know what that looks like. A lot of people don't know what that looks like, because there's so many different ways to be taken advantage of. I've watched a lot of TV, I watched a lot of movies and stuff when I was younger, and those movies hit way different than the ones that are today. The ones that are today just give you like these messy situations, so when you watch them, it's just like, why would somebody do that? Like, you know what I mean? And some people seem so amazed, like, what? That really happened? Like, what? You didn't see that coming? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? Because older stuff, bruh, ain't nothing new under the sun. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's always a remake, and they think it's new. Because they throw some new actors and slap a new title on it. But the reason why they make a new one is because they're trying to have money for the same title, but try to confuse people with the new actors, and the old one won't get any more royalties because people are watching the old movies over and over and over again. And those old actors are getting a lot of money, and they want to shut that off. That's why they're remaking everything with new actors. The same movie over and over and over again. See what I'm saying? I know, like, right? Mind-blowing shit. It's the simplest shit like that. Because some of the real ones, some of the real actors are out here saying, nah, like, we ain't with all this funny stuff. And right now they're trying to utilize all the actors that are with the BS, all this leftist talk and all this extreme whatevers. They're trying to get those actors to influence all of us. I don't even watch that shit. Honestly, like, I lost my taste for Netflix. Like, I've been looking for old stuff. Like, I gotta go to Tubi now. Like, I gotta go to all this different, like, and fuck the commercials. I don't even care at this point. Run your stupid commercial. That gives me time to roll up and I won't miss nothing. You feel me? That's why that deal with Netflix was so important. Because if Netflix had got that deal with Warner Brothers, oh, bro, Freakazoid, fuck everything, bro. Everything. Animaniacs, all of it. All of it. All the good stuff. Way back. Justice League. Y'all gotta remember, man. Bro, they had Pokemon, Digimon, all that. All of it was on there. What else did WB have? I'm telling you, they had a gang of shit. They had, bro, like the whole childhood from everybody's childhood. Shit, I'm pretty sure people don't even remember Carmen Sandiego. Like, what? Carmen Sandiego? Yeah, we had fun. I had a great childhood. Like, the kids nowadays, woe to the parents, man, that have kids, man. This is crazy. And then one day I'm gonna have some kids. I'm gonna be telling my kids, like, look, I need y'all to watch every episode of this. Binge this right here. This guy. Who is that? Just watch. And one of them says, that's you? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. No way, you're the emperor. Yeah, I'm the emperor. Who knows how many people we're gonna have by then? Right now, it's just the real ones. We're the ones that are awake from the Matrix. Everybody is they're confused. They're talking about skin color and sex, relationships. Dude, relationships are complicated. Of course they are. That's why you gotta find your right one. That's why you gotta be equally yoked, right? That means if you're a Satanist, she's a Satanist, right? If you're a Christian, they're a Christian. If you're a Islam, they're Islam. You gotta stay in your lane, man. Come on, bro. I thought we all learned this in high school, at least. Come on, man. Like the bullies, the nerds, the jocks, the ghettos, the smartsy artsies, like, you know what I'm saying? The drama kids, the goths. There was everybody. Come on, man. You gotta get in where you fit in, G. And if you don't fit in, then you one of the oddballs. It's called a rebel. There's a group, and y'all will just end up standing right there looking at all the other groups, and y'all end up in the middle together, and y'all gonna have to figure out which way to go. If y'all gonna avoid those groups, mesh with those groups, interact with those groups, and that's why we're writing our book. Gamer's Guide to Life is gonna be awesome. All right, it's gonna be the book of the century. That's how good this book is going. Like, the reason why I'm saying this is because, man, I'm taking my time with this one. Just like I took my time with this tree right here. Oh yeah, this book is gonna be slap. And here's the thing, I'm not really looking for fame or anything. I'm just putting this shit out here because I want the world to be better, and if somebody catches on, this is cool, whatever. It is what it is. I don't really care about copyrights too much. I'm not gonna go looking for nobody. I don't care. At the end of the day, my shit's fire. My shit's fire, and I'm still gonna be chilling whether y'all like it or not. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? When you really figure some shit out, and you know this world ain't even what it looked like. I'm seeing through all of this. That's what, and this beat's pretty good too. I give you that. I give you that. That one hit different. You feel me? So, shit. Damn, today was a great day. Thanks for kicking it with me, guys. You guys are awesome. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff, you know. We're gonna drop a few of these real quick, you know what I'm saying? And we gotta make sure we remind y'all, cause you know what, you guys.
I say tonight, members of Congress, the state of our union is strong. Our country is winning again. In fact, we're winning so much that we really don't know what to do about it. People are asking me, please, 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 Mr. President, we're winning too much. We can't take it anymore. We're not used to winning in our country. Until you came along, we're just always losing, but now we're winning too much. And I say, no, 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 you're going to win again. You're going to win big. You're going to win bigger than ever. And to prove that point, here with us tonight is a group of winners who just made the entire nation proud.
That's y'all. Y'all made the entire nation proud by being here, by participating, by giving your comments and letting me know, like, let me know if you like the plan. If you don't, that's fine, whatever, you know. If I missed something, you know what I mean? It's cool when you go back through. And then tomorrow, because tomorrow's Tuesday and we go Monday through Friday, okay? And we start at 4 hours ago, sometimes 3.5 hours ago, which would be whatever time that is for you. Because for me, it's 10:29, and I'm about to go play some Marvel Rivals. Get a couple matches in, because, you know, I like to every now and then. But damn, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate having this platform and this ability to just get this word out, even though I'm probably shadow banned here too. I'm not in no algorithm. I don't know how to get in the algorithm. Maybe it's my title. Maybe I need to change, add some new stuff to the title. I'll do something with it. But we'll see what I can do. I don't know. I like it because, you know, GKE Grand Entertainment presents The Conversation. Come have the conversation. What you scared for? What you scared for, homie? We talk about it. We're gonna bring it up. Whatever it is, we're gonna bring it up here. One of these days, if I get a chance to talk with PBD, oh yeah, Big Patty, Pat, salute. If I ever get a chance. I already went on Pearl, she's cool. I went on Cooley, he cool. I went on a lot of these other panels, they cool. But yeah, the guy who had the plan, that shit's gonna go viral, bro. Yeah, just wait. That shit hit different, boy. Yeah. Anyways, you already know how we do. Let me shut the fuck up.
Get ready.
Checks in the mix where it's hella hot. We thirsty, so we snatch your water, go to Jelena. If that shorty is your daughter, she a hella thot. And her mama bombshell in the hella drop. Pop up with my niggas, got that killer cop. Sheriff Joe run up quick, tryna blow my spot. On the road, riding dirty, got a district crop. Banging ass green grams, wait out on the dot. If Molly coming to the party, Lucy want me to pop. 2C eye to eye, can you see mine's eye? Never mind, let me wine, dine, and dazzle your mind. If you're tryna catch up, then turn up behind. I carried on our date, just to kumquat her grape. I got the appetizers and peach sliders for your plate. I kiwi all you palm slices. I got dice food for your fade. Okay, enough with your fruity pebbles, loops, or mini chips. We eating on that A1, saucing on them days. We real ones, we go-getters too. Go get those insides, can't hustlers, dude. Blowing smoke into the air. Fucking miss while we cruise. I don't play fair, but never break the rules. Smoking cigs and bottle runs. Local banging ass niggas. Bless the bottle, light 'em up. Got bitches hanging ass niggas. If you can see me now, maybe hating ass niggas. Where you been when I had nothing ass nigga? Don't be coming round now. You can't hold nothing ass nigga. Now I'm up. Here you showing up fast nigga. With or without you, I was finna get it. Just be proud of the fact that one of us made it. PA checks in the mix where it's hella hot. We thirsty, so we snatch your water, go to Jelena. If that shorty is your daughter, she a hella thot. And her mama bombshell finna hella drop. Pop up with my niggas, got that killer cop. Sheriff Joe running quick, tryna blow my spot. On the road, riding dirty, gotta dish the crop. Banging ass green grams, wait out on the dot. If way back when you was with me when I rode, you be here smoking blips with me. Cups hella full, taking sips with me. Nah, I'm out here on the hustle in this industry. Yeah, grab my wifey, nuzzle up between the sheets. Kiss her softly, make that wet spot on the sheet. I'm in with my cousin, have another dream. Turn the music up with a blip of the street. The money stack rising, like the hit at the peak of the day. High noon, it gets way too hot to play. Seriously, the time to get paid is all we get. Staying out with the ass with the 2 pieces. Knock it out, not that 2-piece. Eat this, you niggas that's hungry for beef, eat this. Fucking with me is a dream. Y'all niggas sleep this. If I had you on the scale, y'all niggas wait this. On the corner with the pill, hands out. Y'all niggas shameless. Roll up to your spot, burn y'all niggas faceless. Talking all that shit. The bullets, y'all niggas nameless. The SAZ rollers out here, y'all niggas ain't shit. PA checks in the mix where it's hella hot. We thirsty, so we snatch your water, go to Jelena. If that shorty is your daughter, she a hella thot. And her mama bombshell finna hella drop. Pop up with my niggas, got that killer cop. Sheriff Joe run up quick, tryna blow my spot. On the road, riding dirty, gotta dish the crop. Banging ass That's green grams, wait out on the dot. Brand new entertainment. Go ahead, baby. I got some questions I need to ask myself. I really need to ask myself. I just don't even know anymore. What do I really want to do? Where do I really want to go? Who do I really want to be? Man. Yo. What do I really want to do? Where do I really want to go? Who do I really want to be? Try to do the right thing all the time. I'm like a hero online. Shit, I come through, save lives all the time. Bust out with the heels and now everybody living life at full health. I'm on, bro. I'm getting that wealth and I'm trying to put everybody else on. I got the belt, the champion. Every time you see me running in the zone, playing in the game. Always in the zone, and when we got the home feel, you know we insane. Shit, hit me on my phone, and you know I'm hopping on the next plane. You know what's up? Shit, let's hit 'em up. Party over here, then we party over there. Come back to the crib, kick it with the kids. That's just how I live. Family biz, huh? This is how we go. Back and back and forth from coast to coast. This is how we go. Back and back and coast to coast. This is how we go. All over your city. Going back to back and we coast to coast. All over your city. Zoom, zoom, zoom with my boom, boom, boom. Got a new one of those neat. Damn, oh shit, it's neat. Damn, you neat. Damn, it's neat, unique, neat, chic. Oh shit, a nigga complete. Never see defeat, then I'll erase a nigga, delete, gone. Run this shit all day like track meet, boy. You know we be doing this shit. Back at home, was all legit. Everybody so fitted up and we be sick. Listening like diamonds, a motherfucking trick. Yeah, we ain't even got a trick, know what I'm saying? But it's like a magician, straight illusion. Nah, nigga losing, straight cruising in my zoomer, nigga. Yeah, I'm pushing, zooming through the traffic, bopping and weaving, attacking, knocking niggas, no sleeves. Damn, how you act? It's too high in this bitch, let's get it cracking. Arizona, yeah, checks, you already know. You know we on them, who's next? Everybody in a row, straight Q shot. Oh my god, nigga, yeah, you lose a lot. 50 cal, long shot. Oh damn, heart stop when a nigga go blam blam. I don't give a fuck, brains everywhere, going ham. Oh, what do I really wanna do? Where do I really wanna go? Who do I really wanna be? What do I really wanna do? Where do I really wanna go? Who do I really wanna be? Man, shit. Already knew that. Brand new entertainment. Yeah, you should know who it is by now, right? If you don't, you need to go look into my past. I got so many of these things. Since I started the game, yeah. Legendary my name. Got the new car, now I'm flying. Brand new entertainment, baby. Since I started the game, legendary my name. Free flow off the head, baby, yeah. I'm flying a plane. Since I started the game, legendary my name. Copped a new car, now I'm flying a plane. Since I started the game.
I think it's gonna be very interesting.
Well, you know how the game go. Always make a move, bro. Money on my mind, so you know I'm never going too slow. Gotta catch up to my dough. Can't let time slip away. Rolex on my wrist. Still, oh shit, nigga got that new tip. Oh, damn, just got a click too for my new blam. You know what's up when a nigga come through with that stick going ham. I ain't trying to do it, but nigga got to prove it. Cause everybody acting like a nigga wouldn't do it. Since I started the game, legendary my name. And I copped a new car. Now I'm flying the plane. Career was always in my sight, so I see it clear, and then you know I'ma fly to my next destination, cause driving taking too long, man. I gotta save time. Since time is money, I'm finna stay rich cause I'm young. Well, I'm 33 and I'm still looking 20 like dumb. Oh, everybody on a nigga like Top Gun, so when I bust out my pistol, you know I'm shooting off some. No, I'm silly, yeah, I get really silly, giddy, gritty, a nigga greedy, so damn, I greet them and I go, I ain't even trying to wait on niggas cause they be moving too slow, so let me go around cause you know that sound when I come through, bam, bam, a nigga down, ham, all day, you knew who it was, so get it up. Since I started the game, legendary my name. Copped the new car, now I'm flying them planes. Since I started the game, legendary my name. Copped a new car, now I'm flying the plane. Yeah, that free flow is for real. Entertainment, baby. Can't even copy that shit. Going ham in this bitch. Yeah. Money in these checks, what's next? What should I do? Tell me what should I do? What should I do? Getting money in these checks, what's next? What should I do? Baby, what should I do? Checks. Money in these checks, what's next? Tell me what should I do? Baby, what should I do? Baby, all this money and all these checks, what should I do? Baby, what should I do? Yeah. I'm getting this money so much, I'm tripping cause I gotta spend so much, can't hold it because then they coming for it, if I stockpile I can't afford it, damn, that's fucked up, they take all the money that you making, bruh, if you ain't spending that shit, damn, that's the time you taking, so I guess they want us to throw it back in society, so we don't break it, smash that shit. So if I wanna buy some shit, I guess I gotta get taxed on all of it, unless it's low key. Black market is somewhere my homies be chillin', so you know we be dealin'. You know me, money in these checks. Tell me what's next. What should I do, baby? What should I do? Getting all these money in checks. What should I do, baby? What should I do? Tell me. Getting all these monies in checks, baby, what should I do? Baby, what should I do? Getting all this money in checks, baby, what should I do? Tell me what should I do? Money, yeah, it's always on my mind, cause I'm counting on my mom, counting all the time. Damn, I'm mounting to something that I didn't even have in mind. Now I gotta keep going and leave the whole world behind. Something like I'm Joe Beso, just trying to kick back, damn, these pesos keep stacking back to back, that's for sure. I don't even know where to spend all of this dough. Shit, guess I gotta stockpile on my stock shit. I'm obnoxious and I'm feeling nauseous, cause all this money coming now, nigga feeling, oh shit, stop it, money ain't everything, I know it. Tell me what should I do? Money and all of these checks. Tell me what do I do? All of these dollars. When I'm getting all this money and all these checks. Tell me what should I do? What should I do? With all this money and checks, baby, what should I do? Getting money and checks, baby, what should I do? What should I do? Baby, what should I do? Getting all this money in checks, baby, what should I do? Tell me what should I do? While I'm getting all this money in checks, baby, what should I do? Couple things for you. While I'm getting all this money in checks, tell me what should I do? Baby, what should I do? shit exclusive. My little homegirl put me on. She said, this shit brand new, free flow. Lately rappers been acting like this is not an art. Huh, you forgot about that part. Lately rappers been acting like this is not an art. Huh, you forgot about that part. Lately rappers been spitting like they ain't got a heart. Because when I step to the